Welcome to Wednesday Night Live from the Basement. Here's your hosts, Rob, Daryl, and Joe.
Gentlemen, good evening. How you guys doing?
Good.
I
do a little dance now when the song comes on. Hey, a little dance. You know,
Well, it's funny it's funny that you should say that because my son's in the next room playing PlayStation, and as soon as he heard it, he came to the front of my office and he started doing the same thing.
See, there you go. All the cool kids start dancing when they hear the song.
I guess so. Gentlemen, Daryl, Joe, we are joined tonight by a special guest that we have wanted to do for a very long time. Tim, welcome to the basement, man. How you doing?
Hey, no channel. I'm kind of just I'm a behind the scenes kind of guy.
For those
I thought I'd jump on it just because it's so much fun, you know.
For those that have watched regularly, you will have seen Tim's name in the comments almost weekly. Tim, another fellow Canadian, is I call him the record hound. I hope you don't mind, or the autograph hound. I hope you don't mind that title. Tim has an incredible knack for meeting musicians, and I think incredible is probably an understatement. Tim and I have been conversing for I don't know, a couple years now since I've been doing this YouTube thing. Tim lives in Ontario like I do, but at the other end of the province. And he's always sending me pictures of concerts that he's been to. And yes, Alex, this is the famous Tim. Absolutely.
Hey, Alex.
Jason, how you doing?
Lee.
And there's Richard. So Tim has basically met everybody. And Tim has shared a lot of stories with me over text messages, and I've been saying to Tim for a while, you got to come on, man. You got to share some of these stories. You got to show some of these autographed records. And so now it's finally happening. So Tim, we are super excited to have you, man. This is
I'm glad to be here.
Don't be nervous. Only like at this point in time, 473 people are watching. So
that's it.
I wish 473 people were watching, but that's what we're going to go with. So
that's all right, though.
Yeah. So that's kind of going to be what we're chatting about tonight. How's everybody's week been? As thoroughly shitty as mine has been, or
no? I guess. Sorry, it's been okay. The weather's been shit. If that makes you feel any better.
Oh, the weather sucks too. How's the store doing?
Store's good. I don't think we were here since we had the 1 year anniversary. I can't remember
because we were not because last week I got delayed with work and then just did an impromptu with Sam and Jason and Alex and
yeah.
John.
And it was my lovely wife's birthday, so I wasn't going to be here anyway. But yeah, so that went really well. It was good. Lots of people in, lots of people that we knew from before, lots of new folks in, so it was good, and that was all right. So, and there continues to be new people. We got a bunch of requests for some new vinyl today. Actually, that Morgan Wallen, and I know you're not necessarily a big country fan, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be a very good album, and it seems like it's pretty popular because I got like a dozen requests for it to bring it in. So yeah, and then a bunch of other cool stuff as well, including some more for me. The only problem with ordering is that, well, not the problem. That's not it. We don't order a whole bunch. And I'm not going to go into why we don't order a whole bunch. But when we do, shipping is the same, whether it's 1 or if it's 30. So right. I've been kind of bumping it up a little bit. I didn't need to this time, but I think I still have 4 coming for myself. So, but that's okay. What are you going to do? I'll just listen to them and away we go.
So speaking of new records, I was texting Joe earlier today. I had such a shitty day. Took like a half hour off and I went to school to pick my son up after school because it was pouring rain. But I had to go early to get a parking spot. So I just sat in my car, ignored my phone, put on some music, and I listened to, for the first time in my life, the Springsteen album, Letter to You. Holy shit, was I blown away.
Yep. I came home and listened to it myself again. Not that I hadn't already, but I listened to it again. And yeah, it's pretty solid.
And I've always raved about how much I like Nebraska. I might like this one a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's only one listen in too. So
that's one listen in. I was floored. So I got to try and find that. I mean, it's on Amazon, but see if I can find it around locally. But
there's a little more there's a little more information coming out about the movie that's coming up.
Movie.
And from what I understand, the one about Springsteen.
Oh, yeah. Right.
From what I understand, it's the time frame when he's writing Nebraska. That's what it's kind of based around a little bit. Like it's not early days Born in the USA. It's supposed to be right around there. And Jeffrey Allen White looks like he's going to be fantastic in it. So that'll be an interesting story to tell that time frame. And then there's all the other 7 albums that are coming out in the box set that were kind of written a little bit on that time frame too. So
you and I were talking about that today. The price, and now you can obviously probably buy it cheaper through the store, but the list price on Amazon was 476 Canadian.
Yeah. So I've asked at my supplier, and they don't have it listed as of yet. I'm thinking probably like 375 cost probably still, but you know, what the hell? It's only money. It's only money, and I will listen to them and enjoy them. So why not? Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. When the time comes, I'll see if I really want to put down $400 for 7 albums, but I've probably put down $400 for 7 albums before. Maybe
when you think about it,
doing the math. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody do math. Daryl, do math for us quick.
I'm not a math guy.
It's $57 an album.
Yeah. I bought a $70 wholesale album a couple of weeks ago. So whatever. Right. It's good. It's just all at once. That's the only problem, but whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Don't pay the heat next month.
Exactly. It's warm out. Screw it. No heat, no air conditioning. Just live with it. And away you go. That's a month. So
you still have snow up there, Daryl?
No, the snow is gone. And it's too bad that we didn't have a show last week, because I was going to do a little bit of throwing shade at you Southern Ontarians, because it was plus 32 in Moosonee, and it was the warmest place in all of Ontario.
Wow.
Nice.
And then guess what happened?
Yeah.
On Sunday, Sunday was a shit day all in all for me, because Sunday was a bad weather day, and my Leafs got booted, and they were horrible.
Yeah.
But here's the good thing. I finally got it. It finally came in, my Harem Scarum anthology album, and it is fantastic. If you haven't heard Harem Scarum, if you like bands like Sven Galley, Firehouse, kind of a mix of that early 90s, I don't want to call it soft rock because it's not soft rock, but I don't want to call it hair metal either. It's not, but it's really good. I've been listening to this thing nonstop, and it's well, I'm not going to take it out, but it's just the as clear as you can get, the clear vinyl. So,
that's good.
Yeah, cool. It's been good, and I've bought some other records down there that my wife doesn't know about.
She's not listening.
Yeah, I bought 3 Alice in Chains records to go with that, but that's that company that I said I got free shipping for that record.
That's good.
All right. Shipping anything to this town is like a minimum of $25 or $30, no matter what. So that's Joe and I've been communicating back and forth about some things. Like, you notice my new scenery behind me. This is the other way in my room. This is just like a tenth of my board game collection behind me.
Oh wow!
Well, you've got a couple more to get there. We're just not sure exactly how we're going to get them there yet. We'll see.
Yeah, and one of them is music related. So once it comes in, I will. I'll definitely have to show it, because that was pretty cool that you found those.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about those then.
Definitely.
But other than that, I mean, things are going well. I mean, I guess I can, just based on my profession, I've only got 5 weeks of school left, and then my summer, I guess. So I'll be all back to it in August again. So,
jeez. What about you, Tim? You buy anything record wise lately?
Well, I got the new Sparks that's supposed to be coming in at some point. I'm going to Toronto in September.
Right.
Maybe I'll hit you up and
we'll have to get together.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go see them in September, waiting for that record, which is talking about new price records. It's $35 to get the record here. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, just to get it there, sure, yeah.
Anything new coming in? Oh, I'm a big Lemon Twigs fan, so I got the solo. Is it Brian Daddario? His solo came in, yeah. No, that's about it. I don't have a YouTube channel to manage, so I just manage my 5-year-old.
That's a handful in and of
And then I
itself.
go to shows
man.
when I can.
Yeah. Exactly. That's awesome. So, two things before I forget. Richard, you probably already know, but I saw today the Psychedelic Furs with Gary Newman opening up in Denver in October, I believe. And I don't even remember. See, I got to say shit as soon as I think of it. I can't even remember the other damn thing.
Is Gary Newman's coming? Is he coming to Canada?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was one date maybe because it was he was opening for the Psychedelic Furs, but I can't remember for sure. So
that'd be a good show.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
Richard's savings are going to go out the door. He's definitely going to that. That's on the menu.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember the other thing. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, if you think of it, just jump in, interrupt whoever's talking.
It's pissing me off when that happens, but oh well, that's okay.
So I got something I have to show. I'm going to make myself large for this, and no one's going to. Well, you guys might care about this, so hold on here.
I cared when you showed me, so yeah.
I got to hit the right button. Here we go. Okay, so all right, let me preface this before I show it. So we have a music industry body in Canada called the Canadian Recording Industry Association, the CRIA. It's now called, I think it's now called Music Canada, but it used to be called the CRIA. And there's the same thing in the States. There's the Recording Industry Association of America, the RIAA. And they're the governing bodies, I guess. They're the ones that certify records gold and platinum and all that kind of deal. And I have wanted for a long time to have an actual gold record or a platinum record or whatever. Now, sometimes you go in the grocery store and like my wife will be like, "Oh, they got a gold record for sale." I'm like, that's not the real thing. That's just some shit novelty. I'm a fan. I want to buy this thing that looks pretty. It's not an actual gold record award. So our criteria are different in Canada than they are in the States. But suffice it to say, I finally have a CRIA record award. I got this.
Oh,
hard to see. This is Tom Cochran's CRIA certification for Mad Mad World going 5 times platinum. This was awarded to HMV Canada because what they do is they make it up for the artist and the band and the label. And, there's a list of people that, receive these. So this one was given to HMV Canada, which is, one of the music retailers. But this is an actual, you can see that plaque by my thumb there. It's an actual CRIA certified platinum record. So I am thrilled to finally have an official, gold or platinum or whatever. It's just cool that that's what this is. And it's cool that it's an artist I absolutely love and an album that I absolutely love. So I scored this off a marketplace from a guy for a stupid cheap amount of money. My wife wasn't too happy when she saw it. And then when I told her what I paid for it, she's like, "Oh, okay, I don't care then."
Whatever.
So, thrilled to finally have an actual platinum record award. So now I just need to find a place to hang it. So that was my score of the week. I am beyond stoked to have that. So
yeah,
it's a CD, awesome. Not a vinyl record, but hey, whatever. It's a certified record award. So please.
For the longest time, I thought that album cover was the album cover for Mad.
It was,
but then I didn't know till years later that there was an alternate. I had no idea.
So that's an ugly one. And then when they reissued it, they changed the cover to. I've got it over there. That one looks very 90s and shitty, and the ultimate cover actually looks vastly superior to the original cover. So, but yeah, so that was the highlight of my week. I got a platinum record over. So
that's awesome. Yes, you had showed me that, and just another reason to be jealous. Meeting him and then that too. So that's good. Not jealous. Happy for you is what it is. Actually.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So
I remembered the other thing.
What's the other thing?
So the Godzilla record that I show, I've always talked about that company, Waxworks Records. They've got a big sale on right now, and I'm not sure why I'm promoting them, but the email came up when I went to look for the link for the StreamYard, and I just thought, what the hell? So they've got like 50% off some of their stuff. So if you're a horror fan, they've got a ton of horror soundtracks, and not so much soundtracks as much as scores. Very cool vinyl, all that good stuff. 50% off right now. So Waxworks Records. I have no affiliation other than I bought a few from them before, and I got the email. So there you go. That's the other thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought of. So
it would not be like you to try and plug something on this live stream.
No, that's I got that later. That's coming up later. But yeah.
It might come up later.
It will for sure. So
do we want to jump into it, guys? Anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. Anytime you're ready, man.
All
it's
right.
all good.
So, informal discussion, really. Just Tim, like I said, has met everybody, pretty much. And if you guys had seen the video that he has sent me of his signed LP collection, we'd all want to find out where he lives and break in and steal them all. And Tim sends me a lot of pictures. He'd be like, "Hey, guess who I met today?" And I go, "You've got to be kidding me." So we're going to talk about, some of the cool people that Tim has met. He's going to show us some of the multitude of awesome records that he has signed. And Joe and I have some albums that we have signed. So we'll share those stories. And Daryl is going to show some records that he has that Tim has signed. And we'll just kind of, see where the wind takes us, if you will. So I'll start it off by saying, Tim, who is in your mind the biggest star you've met? I mean, I can think of some of them that you've told me, but or what's your best story? How do you
that's all like
it's
meant
subjective.
to talk to, right?
Right. How do
the guy, my neighbor probably doesn't give two cares about any of my collections. Probably worthless to him, right?
Sure.
But obviously the big names would be like, well, does just brushing shoulders count? Because if that counts,
sure.
Of course it does.
Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr.
God damn.
The big Elton John,
Michael Jackson,
the boss.
Man,
yeah.
So, okay, well, pick one of the big ones and show us a record and tell us how you got it signed.
Because I've got stuff everywhere. I don't know where this is going to go in what order.
Okay,
so
that's okay. Wherever the wind takes us, man.
I'll start with just because we're talking about it. So I don't know if any of you guys remember when Elton John played Kingston. Do any of you guys remember that? Okay, I wasn't sure if any of you guys had ever gone so Elton John played a show in Kingston. And it was at the K-Rock Center or whatever like that. It was tiny stadium.
Yep.
And I had my seats were 20 rows back. And the person I was with says, "Come on, we'll get you closer." So I'm just following their lead and like, this is not going to happen. But I brought a record just in case, right? Anyway, we get up to the front. It's at the point where they open the pit, so you can rush right up to the front. It comes to the time where he's waving at the crowd and everybody, and so I hold this up.
Oh, man.
That's the one to get, too.
Yeah. And that's the one to get. If I'm going to get anything signed, I brought that, yeah.
Wow.
So it's just nothing like, it was just from the stage. So he just went down, grabbed my record, signed it, handed it back.
That's still cool, man.
Wow. That's all right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My special guest is in the wings going, "Holy shit, that's cool." She didn't quite say that. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Do you want to bring this?
And it not only happened once, it happened twice.
So Tim, was that
before this, I went to a show with him and Billy Joel.
Oh, I'm waiting to see Music Talk with John pop up because you said Billy Joel, so Music Talk with John's gonna pop up in the comments.
They played a dueling pianos thing.
Yeah,
and I got them to sign from the stage as well.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we've had here. You might as well come sit down.
So Billy Joel. Here, I'll take the plastic off.
You got to move over a little. There you go. So we've seen Elton 5 times. So
Yeah.
and normally like he'll take that little bit of a break and then he comes back out. Is that when he did that for
That's
you? Right?
when he did it. Yeah,
Goes down the line, right? Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
There
does
was a
maybe
young
5
guy-
or 6. Yeah, tickets usually he'll do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I came prepared.
There was a young guy that was kind of dressed like him circa 1970s the last time. This is Joanne, by the way, everybody. Say hi, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Hey, Joanne.
The last time that we saw him, there was a young guy that was kind of dressed like him, down to the glasses and everything. But if I remember correctly, Elton actually took the glasses he was wearing and gave them to the young man. So
Oh, wow.
that'd be pretty sweet. So obviously the kid was a massive Elton John fan, right?
Yeah.
Dressed up like him. And then, he got his glasses.
And
So-
a funny side story before I forget. At the end of that show, I don't know what it is. I don't know what they put in the water in Kingston. But when the show was over and they left the stage, people got up. They jumped up on the stage. They were banging on his piano. Like it was
Really?
absolutely mad. Yeah. Until like security finally came out. So in that madness, I saw a Davy Johnston guitar pick. So I may or may not have jumped on the stage and grabbed the guitar pick.
You will need to confirm more than I.
Not to incriminate myself, but
Oh, that's cool, man.
yeah. And Billy Joel too. Billy's on the list still. That's one that I haven't had a chance to see yet. So that's on the list. That dueling pianos one would have been cool. I'm
It
not
was
sure why
awesome.
we didn't get a chance to get to that because that was one. But we want to get to Billy Joel at some point as well. So
Very cool. Good way
Anyway.
to kick it off, Tim. Good way to kick it off.
good job.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, you want to go next since you got a special
Sure.
guest with you there?
Since I've got my special guest with me, we've talked about Joanne coming on a couple of times before, doing
Yeah.
a few different things, and we've talked about maybe the albums because we talk about the albums that our wives listen to often, right? You even talk about how your wife's got her own section upstairs. So,
Yep.
but that's not what we're doing tonight. We're doing tonight people that have met people. Because Tim
Right.
has met everybody. Some of us have met a few, and Joanne has met one that I think, and this is not going to be a fantastic story, like jumping on the stage and grabbing a pick. But Joanne has actually met my favorite
Your hero.
performer,
Oh,
Bryan Adams. So I thought it would be apropos for her to come on and tell the story. Now, again,
Does it matter that it was 42 years ago?
no, it doesn't matter if it was yesterday.
Right.
He's got a new album coming, by the way, and he also does the soundtrack, or he does the opening theme song for the new animated series Canadian Superheroes. I know more about Bryan Adams than I should. Anyway, go ahead with your Meet Bryan Adams story.
It's not even a story. So I was a waitress when I was 18 years old at the Regina Inn, and it was the nicest hotel in Regina at the time, and he was staying there, and he came down for supper, and that's
He
it.
served him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of a chat. I mean, I knew who he was, but I was only 18, and so I wasn't all fangirl about him because I don't think he was that big of a deal way back then, was he? When I was 18,
At that point, I don't know. I'd have to do the math. When
that's a long time ago. Now everybody knows how old I am.
you gave that up yourself. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
say
know.
anything.
Joe still thinks he's not a big deal.
No. We've had this discussion anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we just had a brief chat. I was surprised at how short he was. And that's about it. I mean, it's not a story, so
No, I know, but it's more of a story than I've got. I've never met him. You've met him.
No. that's
Tim,
cool.
you've met him as well. Or at least
I have
saw an
once, yeah.
autograph on. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So funny story about him actually. So he kind of defaced my record. He writes Tim huge, and then that's his autograph, right? It's just bumps.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's how he signed. And then 2017.
oh, that's what that is. Oh, okay.
yeah, when you were showing the boxes, some are definitely take a little more time and or just there you go.
Oh,
It
yeah.
matches up exactly like that. So
Yeah.
This was purchased. This wasn't. I
Yeah,
didn't meet him.
basically, Yeah.
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 But
I
there you
love that he wrote your name on there. So huge. That's cool.
Yeah.
go.
But him, him, it was weird though, because he called us over. There was me and a couple other people, and he called us over. We're like, oh, what's he gonna do? Because I guess he's kind of got a bit of an ego.
He's a bit of
We
a
didn't know
dick.
what was gonna happen, so he's like, come on over.
Okay,
So he calls
so
us
I'll
over,
do that,
and
Yeah,
then one guy had the 7-inch or a 12. He had a maxi of Diana, and he's like,
Well, he
"Nah,
won't
I
sign
don't-
that.
No,
No.
he's like, no, I'm not signing that.
Yeah, he's a little. He's got a reputation for being touchy about that. You don't bring that up.
But
Yeah.
you were
Well,
agreeing with the Dick statement, or
Well, no, I mean, I was just gonna say he wasn't the nicest, warmest, fuzziest guy I'd ever met.
No.
yeah,
I was gonna ask if I know it was a long time ago. Do you remember what he ordered for dinner?
I was
Because I'm
gonna
just
ask.
curious if he ordered a steak. Because now he's a vegetarian. I'm just curious if you
Oh.
might have been one of the last people to see him
No.
order a steak.
No, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
I think the more
Like
important.
it was such a non-event that, I mean, had I known it was going to be a big deal decades later, maybe I would have paid more attention.
I think the important question though is how did he tip? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that either.
Okay, so let's just say he didn't tip well. We'll just write him off completely. What the
Yeah, don't know.
So-
Did we talk about our other famous guy that both of us met? Does he count?
Which?
Bob?
Uh,
Sang, kind of.
yeah, he's saying kind of. Yeah. Who are you talking about? McGrath, right? Okay, so I'm just going to continue on quick here, and I'll do one more quick because we both met this guy, and then it will not be my turn anymore. So it is one of the characters, not on this cover, but it is Bob McGrath from Sesame Street, who sings on most of these songs. Actually, he's on the first one with Big Bird, and he's on In My Neighborhood with Bert and Ernie. Anyway. I met Bob McGrath because there's a telethon every year that the Kinsmen in Saskatchewan put on. It's called Telemiracle, and it raises a ton of money. Actually, it's a very, very good cause. And every year for 20, 25, almost 30 years, Bob McGrath would always come. He was kind of the staple. He was like the Jerry Lee Lewis of the Jerry Lee Lewis telethon. So he was there every year. And at the hotel that I used to work at, we would have an after party. And I met him there, and everybody would give him grief because he was still Sesame Street most of the time. Like he was still fairly prim and proper in Sesame Street. And everybody was like, come on, Bob, say fuck, just say it one time or whatever. So he didn't. And then eventually he went up to the mic and he thanked everybody because it might have even been his last time. And he goes, and fuck you all. So, and that was Bob McGrath. So, and then I don't know if you met him serving again.
Before that, even when I was like 16 and working my very first job, I took room service to his hotel room and he opened the door and I got to see Bob McGrath in a bathrobe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good thing. At least he had the robe on, right? So you didn't get to see Big Bird.
Yeah, so you can tell my brushes with fame have been
There's their brushes with greatness.
fleeting.
Plus, she sleeps with a big YouTube star. So, yeah.
That's it.
Anyway, there you go.
She sees a star every day, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Is she having an affair, Joe? Because you said big YouTube star.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
None of those here, man.
That's right. Exactly. So there you go. Special guest. I told her she didn't have to stick around for very long. And that's all the stories other than the Toot guys. But I'm going to tell the Toot guys later on because you met them too. So, and you hang out with them more than I do, actually. They like her much more than I do when we go and meet them. Anyway, we'll talk about that more later, right?
Okay.
Okay, bye. Say bye, Joanne.
Say bye,
Bye,
Joanne.
Joanne.
Anyway, there you go. So there's my special guest. Oh, here.
Oh, cool. Hold on.
There we go.
Let me full size that. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So was that a begrudgingly done picture, or was he pretty good about that?
Well, it was a crowd of us, so I just cropped them out.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a group. It was like a group shot. He did
That's
all right.
one. He's like, get everybody together, take one
Yeah.
shot. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Trevor, how you doing, sir? Welcome.
Trevor.
Good evening.
Sure.
We're with Tim, who's normally in the comments. He's sharing his many celebrity encounter stories tonight. So he's met a ton of famous people. So, all right, Daryl, you're up, man. Take it however you want to take it.
So I'm just going to preface this by saying that out of the four of us, I'm probably, when it comes to meeting superstar musicians, the most boring person on here, because I've never met like a famous musician. The closest I've come was in probably 1999, 2000. I went home to where my parents used to live in northwestern Ontario, and I was sitting in the Winnipeg airport on the way back to southern Ontario. And I was sitting there with my sister, one of my younger sisters, and I looked over and I looked at my sister and I went, holy shit. I said, look at that. And my sister was like, what? And I pointed and I was like, is that Biff naked sitting over there? And I just didn't have the courage to go up to her and say, hey, are you Biff naked? And I knew it was Biff naked. I just didn't go over. And she was just sitting there, just chill. I think with her, one of her bandmates or her boyfriend or something at the time, and seemed like a pretty cool person. But that is the closest to a famous musician I've ever gotten. And she might have been a few seats away from me at most. I've met more NHL players in my life because I played baseball with one than I have musicians. But if we're talking about musicians, I've met some local ones here that would be, I guess what you would say, they'd be big on the Indigenous scene in Canada. Sure. So there is a band that is from my area. I've mentioned them before, is Midnight Shine, and I have met the lead singer, Adrian Sutherland. He's come up here. I've met him personally. I went to high school with another girl. Her name was Cheyenne Havorka. She is a female Indigenous musician. She tours Canada every now and again. So I've met her personally because she went to my high school. But other than that, I don't have autographs or anything like that. So I'm going to kind of like tail off of the videos that Tim sent Rob.
Right.
Go there.
Well, you got to ask him about your favorite band.
I will be. That is coming up. That's coming up in a couple of picks here. But okay. There is one that I know, Rob, unless you've already discussed this with Tim, I think you're probably a little intrigued by this as well. We champion this female singer a lot on this channel.
We do.
This Canadian Sheryl Crow, as we'd like to say.
Yep.
And in the email, Tim said that she was what was it?
Like less than entertaining, I think, or something.
Less than entertaining. So I'm going to show the debut album, which is fantastic. I mean, we don't need to say much about it. We've talked about it a lot, but I'm just curious what you mean by that. How she is less than entertaining when you had it autographed.
Before Tim relates the story, I just noticed on her website that album is in stock on her website in white vinyl, signed now. And I'm like, well, shit, I already own it on white vinyl, but I think I better buy the signed copy, I think. All right, take it away, Tim.
White. Okay, so yeah, so I got it. There it is. The only thing really know, so I was there before the show, just waiting to see when she'd show up. And sure enough, she shows up with her band, and they all start to walk inside. And I'm like, Amanda, just any sort of attention, just how you doing? Like anything. She just kept walking, but her band kept looking back at me like this. And she's looking at Amanda. They're looking at Amanda, and she just, nope, she didn't. A couple more times, trying to get their attention. She walks in, and the band member is just like, okay. So he said, give me your stuff. I'll bring it in. Come back after the show. I'm like, no problem. So waiting after the show. It took a while. And he comes out with my album signed. And a couple of people were waiting after the show. And she's like, no, she's not doing it. She did a meet and greet inside. She's not coming out. If you didn't give me your stuff before the show, sorry. So didn't see her leave. Yeah. So it's just very strange, but especially when you're trying to just kick off your career again. But
right,
yeah,
it always amazes me, musicians that are dicks like that. Like I get that it's probably a drag. Sign this. Can I get it?
Yeah.
But you wanted to be a musician. That's part of the job. I get it if it's on a friggin' Monday at lunch and you're trying to have lunch at a restaurant, but if it's at the show, it's kind of part of the job, is it not? Am I wrong in making that assumption?
I don't think so. No, I mean, yeah, they would get asked all the time and things like that, but it becomes, I would think it would become part of the job, but
Right.
to a certain extent, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the
Like
double.
we're all human in the end, but
Right.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure they get it every city, but
And here's the other thing too, right? I always think if it wasn't for folks like us that are fans buying the records, more importantly, going to the shows, guess what, Amanda Marshall? You'd be a receptionist in a dentist's office.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I don't get people.
Ironically, that's where her music is played
A point that I have made countless times. Yes.
in Canada, anyway.
You can't go somewhere like a mall or a doctor's office or
No.
whatever without hearing.
And I know it's been talked about 100 times on this channel, but everyone's got a favorite, right? A favorite
What's
track.
yours?
Mine's Exit to Eden. I love
Oh,
Exit
good
to
song.
Eden.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite.
Good song.
I don't think there's a bad choice. So
No.
and maybe
Other
Rob,
than her not signing it, how was the concert itself?
Oh, she signed she's phenomenal. I saw her 3 times.
Yeah.
She was at a folk fest here like before her kickoff, before she got rolling. And then she was here a couple of times since.
Gotcha.
And I haven't missed a show. She's incredible.
She came to Kitchener just as I was getting back into her music. And I just missed it. And I just kicked myself that I didn't find a way to get tickets.
I have the which one? Red.
Ooh.
very nice.
I didn't know they did it in red. Mine's on white.
Okay, nice. I almost prefer that
I've
one.
just got the black.
I think mine is.
I'm gonna order the signed white one. I have to. I have to.
I think this is the first time. I think this is the first time because normally we talk about it every week, but not everybody else has had it. This is the first time all 4 people on the screen own that album, I believe, right? Because Richard
you might be
doesn't, I
right.
don't think. And
That's
I don't
something.
think John, or did John buy it or did he just stream it? Maybe, I don't know.
streamed
If he bought it. He streamed it, yeah.
it.
So, and then, others as well, not leaving anybody out that's been on with us before. So,
Record Hound, how you doing? Would you count comedians? Sure, why not? He's got a good story. How you met germaphobe Howie Mandel. Oh, I'm curious to hear that story. Let us know, man.
yeah, for sure. So I met Lewis Black and oh my God, what is her name? Always with Lewis Black, Kathleen Madigan. And they were super nice. They were awesome. Pictures, the whole 9 yards, chatted with you, like didn't just kind of, here you go, thanks, see ya. Here you go, thanks, see ya, which is nice. So that's good. And it's nice when they do that. You're not expecting 5 minutes with them if
Right.
there's 100 people in line.
Right.
But that little bit of conversation, right? And yep, come take a picture and things like that. It was nice. It was good. So
Trevor's saying when he worked at a record store in the 90s, he had tons of opportunities to meet heroes and up-and-comers. That's cool. Most of them were pretty cool. That's great.
yeah.
Okay.
This would be the only comedian if he's like, I guess, would he be?
Who's that?
Phil there.
Rosenthal, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
The
I just
writer
watched him last
of
night.
Everybody Loves Raymond. And,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to show this one. I've told this story before like 3 times, but since I showed Tom Cochran's quadruple platinum CRIA award, I'll show this because this is my favorite meeting of a musician and also the most famous musician I met. I met Tom Cochran and he signed my my copy of Victory Day. This was just back in November. He was doing a Songs and Stories tour, which was him and his guitar player. And it was literally, he'd tell a story about a song and then he'd play the song. And it was awesome. And I bought a meet and greet ticket for that show because
I think I told you about that.
You
Rob.
did. You sent me the link on Instagram and you look, they're doing meet and greet tickets.
Yeah.
And so I did it. And the meet and greet was $80, but you got a $45 credit for the merch table. So it cost me $35 for the meet and greet, which I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? He's like a childhood hero. Right. So I get to the show and you have to check in at the merch table. And I did. And we go back to the meet and greet after the show. And there is literally 3 of us in the meet and greet. So the 3 of us were in this room backstage with Tom for about 45 minutes. And we each spent time with him. And he was the most genuine gentleman, just a most down-to-earth guy. I had a great conversation with him. I had a second autograph as well. Just a picture of him that said, "Rob, all the best, your friend Tom Cochran." What I loved about the
I got one too.
You got one too. What I loved about it is I had a video on my phone of my son my son is 9 now, but he was, I think, 5 at the time, with a little plastic ukulele screaming "Life is a Highway." And I said, "Tom, I got to show you this." I said, this is my son a couple years ago. And I showed it to him and he was moved. He goes, "That's incredible." He goes, "The fact that it's a song I wrote 35 years ago, and here's a 5-year-old in 2024 playing my song." He goes, "That's incredible." Because he thinks of himself as a songwriter, not a musician and not a rock star. He's a songwriter. So he goes, "I just love that." So he said to his assistant, "Go get me a picture." So she went and got him one of these. He says, "What's your son's name?" And I said, "Parker." And he signed it, "Parker, Life is a Highway, your friend Tom Cochran." He goes, "I want you to give this to your son." And I thought that was cool. And he was just such a nice man. And one of the other guys in the meet and greet used to do sort of humanitarian work in Africa, which is what Tom used to do. He's very passionate about, famine relief and other things in Africa. And so Tom talked to this guy for quite a bit. And at the end of the conversation, Tom's like, "I'll give you my phone number." And the guy's like, "For what?" He goes, "Let's stay in touch." He goes, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're into the same, you're passionate about what I'm passionate about. I'd like to stay in touch with you." And it was just, it was just a cool, he was a guy. He wasn't this musician that I've seen on Much Music for 30 years and, has hit songs all over the world. It was just this great, cool experience. And he was just an absolutely fun guy to meet. So, yeah. What was your experience like with him, Tim?
The same. I think I just saw him on literally just 2 days before you.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And yeah, phenomenal. Like I just, again, you got to spend a little bit of time with him rather than just like wham bam thank you ma'am kind of thing.
Right.
And like, yeah, the one thing I remember mentioning to him is usually in an artist's career, you got your strong material first, right? Because you have a lifetime to write it.
Right.
Whereas him, like Victory Day, Madman, like these are all later where he's
Sure.
really came into his craft much later in his career. I'm like, how did you do that? How did you pull that out of your hat? He's like,
right.
He just said practice.
That's very cool.
So there we go. Back to Man of World. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, that's
the alternate cover.
Right. So that is the album that I have the Platinum Award for.
Right.
But this is the original cover, and that's the reissue cover.
Yours is that's the
exactly. I don't think that was ever.
I have that one too. I have the same one. This one. My brother had the original cover that you have on the Platinum on CD.
Yeah. So I know I've told this story before, but it's just, it's my favorite story. And since we're talking autographs and people we've met, kind of appropriate.
Yeah.
Do you have that one, Joe?
I do have that one.
See, there's another one all 4 of us have. So
that's right. I think I've got. I'll go look. No, yeah, I'll go look because it's Daryl's turn, right?
All right.
Actually,
no, it's Tim's turn.
Oh, it's my turn.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Show us whatever you want to show us, Tim. Amazing.
Okay, here we'll go. Just because I was a bit, I was kind of geeking out inside trying to compose myself for this one. So not a big name yet, but big. He's big.
Okay.
Yeah, he's big. So Ottawa is very small. Well, it is small, in terms of where people stay. So sometimes I'll just if I'm off, whatever, I'll go around and there's clear tell signs where people are staying. If there's nice SUVs outside waiting for it's somebody.
Right.
So when someone like of this stature is in town, I'm like, you know what? I'll just put my eggs into one basket and see who this person is. Sure enough. So he did 2 of them for me, actually. I was only going to ask one, but he did both.
Sting.
Cool.
Wow.
Whoa.
So he did that one, and he did. I had Stuart Copeland on this already, and he added. So I have 2 of them on Regatta de Blanc.
Cool.
So there's Sting and there's Stuart.
So
he kind of wrote
That's
over him a
amazing.
little bit, but
what was that like? Because he gives off the air of being a pretentious dick.
That's it. And that's what I was nervous about. So he comes out, he's all cool. Like he's got that walk, right? And he sees us, he's me and another guy. And he's like, he just wanted, one of these, like, come on over. And then I'm like fumbling for a phone to get a picture, which I have. And it's pointing towards the Parliament buildings. He's like, nice Parliament buildings. You want to turn that around? Like he was a good sport about it. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I'll see if I can find just give me a minute to find the picture while you guys.
It's almost like you can't even like I know Rob.
I didn't know what to say.
It's almost like you've got no words to say about it.
Well, that's
it's
it. Actually,
just so
at that
amazing
time,
that you would just come across Sting.
Yeah. So do you guys watch Rick Beato at all?
All the time.
Yes.
So I met him just after he dropped that episode with Sting, and I mentioned to Sting, I'm like, I think Rick's channel was that big at the time, and I'm like, man, that interview is just a musician's musician interview. That was fantastic. And he's like, oh, like he really was taken back, but like he was really taken to that. So
that's what I would have trouble with is like you meet someone that famous and they almost they are people, but you build up in your mind that they're not. And you go, what could I possibly say to this person? I'm a big fan. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Right. So let's see here.
You didn't say, I really liked when you were with the police. I'm not that.
Yeah,
big
no.
No?
No, he had just dropped that Rick Beato interview. It was just phenomenal. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's a really good interview. So I mentioned that we were talking about that very briefly, and he was really taken to. He loved it. So,
well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
So the question is, Richard, are you going to go to that Gary Newman Psychedelic Furs concert and meet him again?
Probably, I would think.
Probably.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
And Richard's saying he saw Sting twice at Red Rocks. So that's cool that you're so close to that venue. That
yeah, that would be dangerous.
Yeah, you'd be broke, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. I saw the lineup for the Kita Bala. Now, I'm familiar with that, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Like, I would just go and work at a lodge and like just schlup for the day and just go to a concert every night. Like even the ones I wouldn't care about, I'd still just go anyway.
Sure.
Like, just hang for the summer. Just pay me in tickets or whatever. There you go.
There it is.
You get that?
Yeah, we get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great.
Cool.
Was he staying at the Fairmont?
Chateau Laurier. Which is the Fairmont, I think, here.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
The one right beside Parliament on the other side of the canal, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the Fairmont.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm going to Fairmont in July. Does that count? No?
Sure. Close enough.
Okay. Not real.
Maybe Tim will meet you there and get an autograph.
There you go.
There you go.
If you're in town, let me know. All the festivals are kicking off here soon. Blues Fest.
Yeah, no, I mean we've talked in what you typing, me talking. I loved Blues Fest, and I do want to go back to Ottawa. I definitely want to come back, and this year would have been okay. The year we went was great for us. Obviously, it was a lot of people that we hadn't seen. go see Green Day again tomorrow and the day after if I got the chance. But it's such an outstanding facility. It's just really, really nice there for the amount of people that they put in that place, man. It was in, it was out, it was awesome. So Billy Joe or everybody, because you got to get Trey on there. You got to get just Billy Joe. That's all right. And was that where was that?
This was in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
again, it was a big scrimmage, like people everywhere. So you're
Yeah.
basically just kind of doing, yeah.
Put it out there and hope they do.
Yeah, that's all that was.
That's all
Joe,
right,
did I tell you, Joe, the story about how my best friend met Trey Cool the night
at the
before
ball
the Green
game,
Day
right?
show?
At the baseball game, wasn't it? Or?
No, it was at Molson, Budweiser stage.
Oh, right. Yes, they were watching someone else.
They were literally sitting 3 seats over.
Yeah.
So very
Trey
cool.
would be fun. Billy would probably be okay, but Trey, I think if I was gonna meet one of them, I think Trey would be the one to meet for me anyway. So,
he's a little bit crazy, but
a little bit. That's okay. That's good.
Are you buying the new deluxe Saviors?
Yeah, it shipped today, so and then I'll do something with the other one. But you get 5 new songs. So and I love that album, man. I mean,
I do
know
too. I listened to it again today.
It's just such a great album. And you know, if there's 5 more, even if one of those songs is good of the 5, which I'm sure there'll be more, but plus it's Pink splattery and all the other cool shit. So what the hell, right?
I'm gonna wait till I find it at one of the stores rather than order it. So that's my plan.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
So
all right, Joe, your turn. Kick it off.
Turn. All right. So a while ago, Ryan W asked, and we went past
Did I miss
it a little bit. What happened to Biff Naked? And I'm fairly certain still out there, and I'm fairly certain touring. And even
she was fighting. She was battling cancer for a little bit, I believe.
She was definitely, but I thought she is better, and I'm pretty sure
she's touring again.
Yeah, she was in Ottawa a couple months ago.
Yeah. So and this is not live autograph, but I did get a Happy Holidays card from Biff Naked a couple of years ago, and it does have her autograph on the back. And there it is. Not that it really matters, but like I said, it's not live. But I bought some albums from the record company that she's also on, so they also sent out a Biff Naked Christmas card with it. I have seen her though. She was awesome. She she was a couple hours before the Grey Cup that I went to in 2010 in Edmonton. It was just a great show, standing there watch her for an hour and then wait to get into the stadium. So it was really good. And she was really awesome. And I'd go see her again. I bet she still puts on a fairly fantastic show. So,
cool.
All right. And I don't have anybody other than the Bob McGrath one that I pulled out of my hat that I have not talked about before. So this is going to be a repeat, but that's all right because I'm going to put, I don't know if I present something, can you show it, Rob? Yeah, there you go. So there's me and JJ. I've talked about me and JJ Wild before, but there's actually the old dirty old man standing next to the cute girl getting his album autographed. Now, when I bought the album, she wasn't at the table yet because I was first in line, and it was signed on the inside, on the inner sleeve, wherever that is. There it is. She had actually signed it inside, but then she also re-signed it on the outside. But the interesting, I guess, kind of, maybe you won't find it interesting. The interesting part of the story is that I asked the band to sign it as well. And they were taken aback. It's like, what the hell do you want us to sign that for? Well, because you guys are on it, right? Yeah, we're on it. But, don't you want JJ to sign it? And I said, yeah, I'll get her too. But you guys are in the band. And I wonder how much that comes up with bands where there's a specific lead singer and then they're not, it's not like Keith Richards or, or Angus or whatever, like where they're a band.
When it's somebody and the somebodies.
Like if you would have seen Saz Jordan and asked Taylor Hawkins for his autograph, right? Because you didn't know who he was at the time, but I think the band is also on the album. Like, I guess that's different. If it was house musicians, but even that, I'd still get the band to sign it because that's who I saw when I got this album signed. It was those guys in her band, and they were really good, actually. I don't know any of their names, but they were really, really good. So I found that a little odd that the guys were like, what the hell do you want us to sign that for? They didn't have a problem with it. They were just taken aback by it a little bit.
Not many folks had asked them to.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, so anyway, there you go. There's my old man in the JJ Wild story, and then the confusion from the band, and they were good dudes. They were super nice, and chatted with them for a little while because she was super busy and nobody was asking them, or very few asked them. So I had a chance to talk to the band for a little while, which was kind of cool. So
very cool. Very cool. All right, Daryl, you're up.
Okay. So I mentioned earlier that I have very few signed albums, but this one here I got as part of a collection, and the guy was like, I won't charge you any extra for it. I had this thing signed back in, what does it say, 1987. And so, I would have only been 8 years old at that time or whatever it is. But I noticed that, Tim, you also, I think, have this album exactly, I think, signed. But before I get into it, I was always fascinated by him. Now, I have seen him, I wouldn't say perform live, but I have seen him perform the national anthem live on a keyboard at an original Winnipeg Jets game back in 1990, 91. And that is Burton Cummings. And I'm just trying to find the autograph here. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Right there. So 1987, Burton Cummings, 87. And so I got that, like I said, as part of just like a collection that I bought off a guy online. Didn't charge me anything extra for it. Which leads me to my other question for you, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Have you any autographs by any of the other members of the Guess Who?
So only Burton and Randy.
That's
I have
all you
them.
need.
I have those two on American Woman.
That's all you need.
Yeah. And Randy, I just saw last week, actually. I just saw him last week.
With April Wine and
April Wine and Head Pins.
And Head Pins. Yeah. It's not Head Pins without Darby.
Her.
It's not April Wine without. But anyway, we're not going to get into that. But it was a good show, though, because I saw Randy a couple of years ago.
He was
really
great.
Good.
He was sitting. He was sitting for the show.
No, this was, like I said, this was probably 3-4 years ago. So I think maybe that's made a difference. And Tal was playing with him. I assume he still is.
Tal was there.
They do Tal's song and stuff. So yeah, it was good and outstanding musicians. And then I've seen Burton in the last, 5-6 years. He lives in Moose Jaw actually now. So he's a grumpy old man, but he doesn't really seem like it. But he lives above an exercise studio, or he used to. And he was complaining that they were playing their music too loud. And there was this whole argument and fight of Burton Cummings and this workout studio about how loud they were playing. I think she's moved since, or he moved, one or the other. So there hasn't been much about it, but it was kind of odd. It's funny, for lack of the proper term, that he was complaining about how loud. Maybe she just wasn't playing any Burton Cummings music. So
yeah. There's Tall.
There it is.
Hashtag wind tunnels. Our hair is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So what were your overall thoughts of Burton when you had him autograph your album?
He was over the top nice. Like I actually, like, I've got everything. I own everything of his. So I kind of went in with a few, and he's just like, give them all. And he just knocked them all out. I'm like, thanks.
That's cool. Did I ever tell you guys my Burton Cummings story? I probably have.
I don't know if you have or not.
I met him very, very briefly. I graduated from the University of Guelph in 2001 with a history degree. And there he is. In that same year, Burton was receiving an honorary doctorate in music. And music and history are both under the collective umbrella of the College of Arts. So we had the same graduation ceremony. So, there's, there's 1,000 of us graduates or whatever the hell there is. And on the stage, there's all the, the dignitaries, the chancellor, and Burton sitting right beside the chancellor. And all the people, you'd walk on stage and you go up to the chancellor and he would confer his degree on you. And Burton was sitting beside him, just looking bored out of his mind. Because in 2000, you've got a bunch of 20-year-olds who don't know who the hell he is or don't give a shit. And I'm a massive Guess Who fan. And so, like, I'm getting closer to the stage, and because you're in a line, and I'm on the top step of the stage, and I'm next, and I'm like, I got to shake his hand because when am I going to get the chance, right? So I'm in front of the chancellor, and you kneel, and he puts the thing on you and confers your degree on you, and you stand up, and you're supposed to walk off stage. I went over to Burton, and I said, "Excuse me, Burton, big fan, pleasure to meet you." And he's like, oh, like he really perked up. He's like, "Nice to meet you too. Congratulations, thank you." And that was it. So I met him for all of like 5 seconds, and there's actually a video of it. I have it on a VHS tape that I have to digitize one of these days. But that was my Burton Cummings experience. So nothing autographed, but the day was about me. It wasn't about him.
Yeah.
So,
Daryl, have you seen the Guess Who? Did you see the Guess Who at any point in time?
No, I've never seen them. Like I said, the only one I've seen live was Burton, but only for the national anthems at the Winnipeg Jets games.
Right.
Which for me as a 10-year-old kid was just absolutely, for me, just like his way of playing the national anthem was just phenomenal to me.
Mm-hmm.
If he ever came out and started playing them at the Jets games again, I think I would turn in my Leaf badge and become a Jets fan again.
You should turn in your Leaf badge anyway.
Oh, the Leafs. We won't talk about the Leafs.
You got to be a Sens fan, right, Tim?
Not really. I'm a player. I like players.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I just like to follow. Yeah.
At least you're not a Leaf fan. That's all.
No.
There's a little bit of sanity on this.
That's okay. That's okay, Rob. Rumor has it, Montreal might get Marner. You can have him.
Oh, fuck. We don't want him. You can't make it. But then again, we can't make Montreal any worse than we are. So, whatever.
I was just wondering if any of you guys knew. Does Randy still do his radio show?
I don't think so. I thought I saw something on Facebook the other day that he wasn't, but I couldn't say that for sure.
He was doing it on some of the streaming platforms for a while, but I don't know if it's still
okay.
I don't know.
Some good stories came out of that, though, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely. Is it my turn now? It's my turn now.
It is your turn.
Okay. What am I going to show? I don't know. Let's. Yes, Richard. Of course, I'm going to show that band, but we'll get there in a minute or later. Let's do. I mean, some of these are stories I've shared before, but whatever. Okay, so I didn't meet this person. Oh, I got to make. What am I doing here? There we go. Making Daryl big for no reason. Okay. I didn't meet this person, but she signed her record for me. Love Lisa Loeb because I think she's a wicked singer-songwriter. She was cute as hell back in 1994, and she's still cute as hell in 2025. So, must be the librarian glasses. I don't know. But anyway, never met her, never seen her in concert. But when this album came out, I bought it off of her web store. But it was at the height of the pandemic, and they had a thing right on their web store. Shipping only into the U.S. If you're outside of the U.S., email us, and we can figure something out. So I emailed the email address, and it turns out it was Lisa's personal assistant or manager or whatever. Personal assistant, I guess. I said, hey, I'd like to buy an autographed version of the album. It says you don't ship. She goes, yeah, where are you? I said, Canada. She said, yeah, we can work it out. So I paid for the record, and it was signed. And I get an email one day, and she goes, we're getting ready to ship the record, but we're waiting a couple days because it's hot here, and we don't want to ship it when it's hot because we don't want it to warp. And before I package it, Lisa would like to know if you would like it personalized. I'm like, well, please. Yes. Please. Very, very kind of her to offer. So she signed it to Rob from Lisa Loeb. And then they shipped it, and I got it, and didn't meet her, but, a fun story nonetheless, I guess. So should I do a twofer because I didn't really meet that person?
Go for it. I need to get her debut record, but it's stupid expensive.
So there are two versions of it on vinyl. There is the original 1994 pressing, which is about $400, believe me, because I've looked for it for years. And then about 4 years ago, there was a very limited Japanese reissue on splatter vinyl. Very hard to find. I bought it because I saw a listing for it on eBay when it came out, and I have it. and that's just as expensive now as the damn original one from '94.
Yeah.
So I've got it. It's great. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna do a twofer because this was also kind of we'll call it a mail order autograph. My fantasy wife, Miss Susanna Hoffs. This is a Bengals album from 2014, and what it is like pre-fame, like early, archival kind of stuff. And what I like about this is the original lineup. So Annette Zelinskis was the original bass player, but she quit as the Bengals were getting famous, and Michael Steele was their bass player on all the studio albums except for the last one. So this is the original lineup, which I love that I have the original lineup on here. And I ordered this from their web store, and I got it, and it's pretty beat up. Like the corners are all mangled. They didn't pack it worth a shit. So I emailed the customer service department at their web store and said, hey, got this. It's beat up all the shit. Anything you can do about it? And they said, yeah, we'll send you a brand new one and you can keep the one you've got. So I have a copy here in my stacks that is absolutely mint, which is the one that I play. And so I have this beat up one hanging on the wall. So not my only Bengals autograph. There's another one right there. That yellow CD is their Sweethearts of the Sun album. But yeah, so there you go. That's my other mail order autograph story. Not as fun as meeting someone in person, but that's what we got.
Yeah, but you had some interaction though, right? It was not necessarily with them, but it's not like you just, okay, here's my money, sign it, and they send it back, because that happens a lot. I mean, it's not that you want to end up getting a beat up record, but now you got a story out of it. Right?
It would have been better if it was Susanna Hoffs actually answering the email, but
ding dong. Hello, is Rob there, please?
Right, exactly.
That's not exactly how she sounds. That's just an interpretation of how she sounds.
That's a pretty bad one.
Yeah, I know.
I got a few comments here. Trevor's saying he didn't get any autographs back in the day when he was working at the store, but went out to an after-show dinner with Buck Cherry the first time they played Detroit in '99. I'm not a Buck Cherry fan.
I think what you have to do is you have to get a tattoo when you meet Buck Cherry. They actually have a tattoo artist that comes with them, and you just get a tattoo from,
Probably. Yeah. Richard's saying the nicest, most gracious artist he's had the honor of meeting is Bob Mould. Everyone raves about Bob Mould all the time.
Yep.
Not my cup of tea, but that's cool. It was fun. I had this hat, and their tour manager liked it, and he gave me $100. You sold him your hat for $100? That's cool.
What was the hat? We kind of need the rest of the story, man. Come on, Trev.
Yeah, like what kind of? We're not talking like a baseball hat, obviously.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah. Was it a Detroit Lions hat? What was it?
Right. We got to know. Let us know, Trevor. Okay. Wow us again, Tim.
Okay. We'll do. Do you want a heavy hitter?
Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Okay. Show us whatever you want to show us.
I don't know. I have so much, man.
I know. It's sickening.
It's really whatever you want to see. Okay, so this one. So again, is one of those not too long of an interaction, but my comment got a reaction from him. And that would be
Roger
Waters. Holy shit.
Roger Waters.
Wow.
So this one, when he was on tour for The Wall, and what was the one he did maybe like 7 or 8 years ago? Was it Dark Side of the Moon?
I think he did The Wall, and then he did Us, or I can't remember. There was one.
Yeah. Anyway, so the word through the grapevine was if you got there early, he would sign for you. He drives in to the back of the arena. Like you have no access to him, but he'll stop for you, roll down, and sign if you're there waiting. So I was there with 2 other people, and the security there were giving us a hard time, but his guy, like Roger Waters' guys, they had a system where they didn't care. So they knew we were there for that reason. And they're like, leave these guys alone. He'll come, he'll do it. Just as long as these guys don't, aren't complete morons,
Yeah.
So everyone, like the three of them, they all showed up with their Dark Sides of the Moons, right? And I showed up with with a solo record. And I just said like I think it's his best work since Dark Side of the Moon. Personally, I love that record. So when I told him like I think it's near close to a masterpiece, he's like, oh, like, and I actually got like he was just kind of like a robot, no expression, nothing, just old man yelling at the clouds kind of face. But someone managed to take a picture. So there he is there looking at me.
Very cool.
Yeah, but when I told him how much I love that record, he was like, oh, like he kind of woke up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he thanked me
awesome.
and said, yeah. And I met him. So this one, I've got him on.
Wow.
I've got Nick Mason on there too. So these were signed at separate. Like this I got maybe 10 years ago. And this one was about maybe, I think, just before COVID. When Nick
you're a dick when you have to sign that large on the front of a record.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
That's very cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'll take it. Large. That doesn't matter. That's good.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm not getting anyone else on it, so might as well fill it up.
Might as well. That's a good point. That's cool, man.
Now, I didn't see all the boxes, but if you move just to your left for a second, there's an album that is other way. Move over just a little bit. There's an album that's at the front of the pile there. Is that one signed? The yellow, blue, and the one that says Tom Petty on it. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's going to be good. That's leaving with me next week. I'm going to go for Mike Campbell.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
No, Tom.
So you
don't have anything with Tom? No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's
he was regret, he played Blues Fest like 2 months before he passed away.
Yeah.
And no, he was a ghost. Didn't see him.
Yeah. In, out, gone. Yeah.
That's it.
How was that show? Was it
Phenomenal.
good? I never had a chance to see him.
You know who played before him? I think if my memory serves me correct, I think Greta Van Fleet was on before him.
Really?
Yeah. They were crazy. They were good too.
They're good. They get a lot of grief. But you know what? If I sound like Led Zeppelin, I'm going to frickin' make music as well. Just like people always used to give David Coverdale shit. Oh, you sound like Robert Plant. Well, yeah, no shit. Why wouldn't I be singing if I sound like Robert Plant? But anyway.
I'm sorry. The only band I want to hear less than Greta Van Fleet is Nickelback. Fuck.
Good. We found your two favorites then. But Mike Campbell.
Nickelback. Tim, do you have any Nickelback?
No.
Thank God.
Nor have I seen them live.
Good.
So,
don't waste your time.
Dirty Knobs or is Mike what?
Yeah, he's with the Dirty Knobs. Yeah. That's
right
it.
on.
They're coming to Toronto in a couple of weeks. I think.
The Steve Ferrone, is it Ferrone or is
Ferroni?
that how you say his last name? Ferroni.
I think it's Ferroni.
Okay, he's drumming with him, so you get two Heartbreakers for the price of one.
I know.
That's good. Right on.
I didn't get tickets and I kicked myself, but
yeah.
I think Sam just was hanging out with the Avett brothers, wasn't he? Didn't he have some pictures up on his Facebook page? I think. Yeah, he saw him recently again. So
yeah,
and I thought he had some photographs with them, so that's cool.
Yeah,
I know he's a fan.
All right, Joe, what do you got?
I'm next, eh? Okay, I've got. Let me share if I can because this worked last time. So let me do another one here. These guys, again, I've talked about not at nauseum, but enough. And I've got the toque on, and sometimes I wear the shirt. But anyway, it's the guys from Toque. I think you guys, I know you guys are all familiar with, and I think everybody kind of watching in the comments is familiar with. But for those that aren't, the two people in the middle you've met before this evening, but the one standing beside my lovely wife is Todd Kearns, who is also in Age of Electric, and he's played with Bruce Kulick, and he's played with just about everybody almost, it seems like. Very good singer, great guitar player, plays the bass, plays the lead. He is a rock and roll star from Saskatchewan. Shane Gallus on the end is in a number of different bands and has been in a number of different albums. Corey Churko, who's standing beside the old dude, most notably, besides being in Took, was with Shania Twain for a number of years. He was her musical director. He played fiddle in her band, and he also played guitar in her band. And on the end is Brent Fitz, who has been in a lot of different bands. Todd and Brent are most notably in, and I actually have all four of them sign this copy of Slash with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, because both Brent as well, or not Brent, both Shane and Corey have filled in and are part-time conspirators. So it was okay for them to sign this, but just really, really good dudes. Every time we go and see them, we do the meet and greet. It's an extra $10 or $20 or something like that. But they're all fantastic guys. Joanne usually talks to Todd. He's a big cat lover, and he's got a charity that he set up that raises funds for cats and that. And they talk about that. Last time I had a chance, I talked to Brent, who's from Winnipeg. So we talked about the 3 record stores that I most recently went to and he's been to and things like that. They're coming back. I hope to have them on with us at some point, maybe one of them or at some point. It's in the works. And unlike Amanda Marshall, who maybe we know why now we got shut down instantaneously, there is this small hope of these guys coming on. They are just good Canadian kids, down to earth, just awesome guys. And they've played with a lot of different people, including Slash and Miles Kennedy, and just really, really good dudes. So I highly recommend, again, you guys have heard me talk about them, but for those that maybe don't know who they are, go and see Took. Just good Canadian rock and roll. They do a bunch of covers, but they've also got almost enough for an album themselves. Hopefully that's going to happen in the next little while. That's a shiny record, eh? Sorry about that. Looking forward to that. And real quick, before I forget, I want to do this too. And it is in a wonderful sleeve. So I'm not even going to take it out of the sleeve because it's so nice and crystal clear, these sleeves that we get from vinylstoragesolutions.ca. You don't even have to take the albums out. Yes, they shine a little bit, but they are so clear and clean. Look, there's that. And Rob's got this one too. But I'm just going to leave it in there. And then, of course, it's got the beautiful inner sleeve as well. So you can keep your vinyl secure, keep your vinyl safe. Part of the reason I wanted to show you this was because of the sleeve. But the other part of the reason, look what I found yesterday. It is the K-Tel that one's based off of. So
way.
Look at that.
Music Express. So the font's the same, right? There's the 4 pictures and the soundtrack or the song listings are there. And then if you go and you take the back is pretty close as well. They've got a couple of different things. They don't have Captain It's Neil and they don't have War on the back of the Trans-Canada Highwayman. But even if you notice the all top 10 hits little asterisk star up in the corner, it's got all top 10 hits. It's a little different maple leaf up there. But anyway, so part of it was because I did want to show you these wonderful storage solutions from Vinyl Storage Solutions. And if you use the promo code Northern10, you get 10% off. And it makes them even more crystal clear, 10% clearer if you use Northern 10. But the other part I wanted to show you was there. We talked about it before, and I was going through a box at the shop, and I found this one. So there's what that one is based off of. Okay.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. So,
and the record's neat too.
I'm gonna keep them together. Yeah. There you go. There's that.
I kicked myself that I didn't go see them when they were over in Waterloo.
They're the coolest guys.
I bet. That's awesome.
They're the East. It's not fair to say they're the Eastern version of Took, kind of, right? They're a super group.
Yeah.
They've been in a bunch of bands. They play fantastic music, and they do a little more poppy stuff than Took does. All the kind of the Western material, the Streethearts and the Troopers and the bands out of Winnipeg and things like that. So anyway.
Well, Chris Murphy had Sloan is a phenomenal band.
Oh yeah,
they don't get their dues.
No, I agree. I saw them a while ago. Yeah. And they're out. Them and the Odds were out together, I think, weren't they? Or maybe Pursuit of Happiness and the Odds were doing
Pursuit of Happiness
together. So, yeah.
Okay, Daryl.
All right, so this is the last autographed record I have, and here it is. Get out the scorecard there, Richard. So here we go. So I've talked about this. This is more of an EP, but like Rob on your last two choices, this was a purchase off the web store. And so they did an EP called 33, and I got to go with the Glass Tiger here. It's all three main members of the band autographed that one. It's the 33 one. If you have not heard this one, I mean, I was a little worried because I bought this one blind. I didn't listen to it or anything before I bought it. I was a little worried. I mean, I was thinking that Glass Tiger they were going to be too old and they weren't going to sound like they were from the 80s and the early 90s, which, I mean, obviously, like any band from that long ago isn't going to sound exactly the same, but I think that they have aged quite gracefully as a band. And I bought it on the mine's you can't see it because it's too dark, but anyway, it's a red vinyl on this one. But yeah, so this is, like I said, this is the last of my autographed albums. Tim, have you seen Glass Tiger?
Yeah, yes.
There's Alan.
There's Alan.
On a cold February. Yeah. Yeah, he was
cold.
Right? He was really nice. He does it. Julian Lennon does a cover of Thin Red Line.
Okay.
From the debut here. This one. He
Look
does
at that,
a cover of Thin Red Line. And he slows it right down. And I asked him about it. Like, yeah. So he got together. Yeah, it was really he was chatting about just doing something with Julian for a little bit. But not the band, the other guys were like, they just signed my record and kind of pieced out. They didn't really take any time. But Alan took a couple of minutes, and he's super nice. Super nice. They actually canceled their show because he lost his voice or something like that. So it was a rescheduled date, and he was like he's like, I'm so sorry I couldn't do that. I'm like, dude, don't apologize to me. Like,
yeah, he's definitely had some health issues over the last 10 or 15 years. So which is why when they released that one and they did that Christmas one, it's fascinating to me that they don't sound exactly like they did, but it's not like they've gone. Well, Rob, you always talk about Bryan Adams and some of his more recent stuff. It hasn't got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's all I got there. And then for some of my next picks, I'm going to be bringing out some big guns of Tim's.
All right. Richard's saying no points tonight. When I first read your comment, Richard, I thought you said no pants tonight, and I was going to ask why you're not wearing pants.
Well, maybe it's both. You don't know. Maybe
I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to go. It's my turn. I'm going to do a twofer because I want to, and I can. So this is a band that, if you watch Gary from Physical Format Rock and Roll, he's in love with these ladies and talks about them all the time. To me, they're a local band. The Surfer Jets. You guys heard of them?
I've heard of them.
I think I've heard of maybe.
All-female surf rock band from Port Perry, Ontario, which is near Peterborough. And they dress like they're from the 50s with like the beehives and like the diner outfits or whatever. But as you can sort of see on the back there.
And roller skates.
Yeah, so this is their first album called Roller Fink. Great surf music, no lyrics. It's just instrumental surf music. There's some good covers on here, like Roxy Roller, the Nick Gilder song. Heart of Glass is on here. She Loves You, the Beatles, it's on here. So they've had a couple lineup changes, but they just have a new album out. But I saw them open for, I think they opened for Blue Rodeo. If you're keeping track of points, Richard, I mentioned it. So there you go. So it's signed by all four of them right there. Just wickedly talented ladies. I'm not a giant surf music fan, but I enjoyed this when I saw them, so I picked it up. And this is on pink vinyl, and it's in a vinyl storage solution sleeve. So anyway, Surfer Jets. So that's one. They make a tour of the States all the time, but like I said, for me, they're a local band. And this is another local band that again tours the States all the time. Talk about these guys a lot. The Sadies. I have most of their records that are available on vinyl, but there's a couple I'm missing. This is Northern Passage from 2017. I have met the Sadies more times than I can count. And actually had the privilege of seeing them once in a coffee shop in the town that I live in with 20 people. Crazy. And I've also seen them at the Molson Amphitheater with 10,000 people. So, whatever. But this was a show they did at Center in the Square in Kitchener, and they all signed it. And I kind of value this record because the signature right here is Travis Good, one of the two brothers that are the frontmen of this band, and he died a couple years after this very unexpectedly. And this band has soldiered on and put out a couple albums without Travis. But the last time that I met them, it's weird. Travis and his brother are, I don't know if there's a picture of them in here. No, there isn't. They are incredibly tall, like 7.5 feet tall. And to me, they look imposing as hell and scary as fuck. And they were like some of the gentlest souls you ever meet, just the nicest guys, but they just look like they're Bigfoot's cousin and they're going to rip your head off and eat it. But some of the nicest guys. So thrilled that this is actually the only Sadie's autograph I have is this album. At least I got a little piece of Travis before he passed away.
So no rules here, but I'd like to make up a rule. The new rule is if it's a gatefold, you have to show the gatefold. Because I was kind of wanting to see I know it didn't look like there was much. It looked like just lyrics on one side, but that's the new rule, guys, is if we have a gatefold, you got to show the gatefold. So not much, but still kind of cool. Northern Lights, right? So
right.
That's good. Thank you.
You
I don't know why that hit me, but it just did. So.
It's like having a Playboy and not looking at the centerfold. From what I hear, I
don't know of this magazine you speak of. Is it a magazine?
It's what I've heard.
Sure, cool.
So
you got any of those? You got any of those signed, Tim?
Of what? Oh, Playboy. I do have one Rolling Stone. I've got one Rolling Stone sign.
Yeah,
I have met a Playboy centerfold though. And I also, believe it or not, one night I actually partied with Ron Jeremy. That's a true story.
I think you told that.
But we're not going to share that story ever on my channel. So
no.
Tell me that wasn't in 2000 in your hometown. I almost had the chance to do that in 2000, and he canceled. He was going to go.
No, it wasn't 2000. That would have been 2004 because it was just after I got divorced the first time. I've only been divorced once, but like the first marriage, and I got divorced, and so it was about 2004. But yes, it was at what you think it was at.
Yeah.
Church.
Sure.
I know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
church, right?
Yeah, he had to cancel due to health reasons, so I didn't get to see him.
I did. Anyway, moving along.
Anyway, next
we're gonna let Tim go again. I'm just gonna quickly say goodnight to my son. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Take it away, Tim.
So I'm gonna do woke up on the wrong side of bed or just not nice people in general category here.
Okay. So we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt.
I've got two very weird stories here. So so let's go with this one. He doesn't get talked about very much. But I'm like, hell, I'll go see him once. Said I like his older stuff, Spanish Train, things like that. Chris de Burgh. Yeah. So
this was actually gonna be my next one.
No way. Okay. So
That's awesome.
Not a big fan of the record. It's okay, but it's not my favorite of his, but just it's signed well. So we come out after the show. He's getting in his car, and he looks at us and he goes back in the venue. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe he forgot something. And then he comes out another exit, which is just downstairs. He still has to come up to pass it. Like there's 2 ways out, and he's got to pass us either way. So he comes out the other way, and then he sees us again. He's like, I'll do one album. I know eBayers when I see them, you know. I'm like, really? Are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, he seems to have a eBay radar on him.
Wrong, though. He was wrong.
Apparently, but I mean, I went to the show, so I guess I'm a scum.
Plus, you kind of have to think a little bit of yourself. If you're Krista Berg, and nothing wrong with Krista Berg, and I like a lot of his music.
Yeah.
But to think that people are going to be selling it on eBay, what are you going to get for it on eBay? What are you going to get for a Krista Berg?
Well, really, like he's kind of a has-been at this point.
A little bit, yeah, exactly. It's not,
And-
it's easy to say, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then this one's actually pretty funny. So Sass Jordan. So luckily I got this is again after the show. So if you can see that, it's very, I don't know, is it even legible?
Yeah.
So this is supposed to say love, and this is supposed to say sass, okay? So it's me and another guy after the show. It's about 11 at night. There's no one in the parking lot. Everyone's gone home. And she comes out of the venue. Her hotel is behind us. I'm talking about sass. Okay, so Rob, you know when I got you 5440?
Yes.
So this was the same venue.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
So yeah, I was just saying to the guys, like, this is supposed to say love sass, but if you can even read that.
It says something, Sass.
And the only reason why I know it says love is as I'm getting into it. So she comes out at 11 at night, 11:15, pretty late. Everyone's gone home, empty parking lot. Her hotel's behind me because that venue takes people, like they bring people in to the hotel across the street for logistical reasons, I guess. And so she comes out, she looks at me and the buddy. I got 2 records and my buddy has 2 CDs. She looks at us. She comes out. I'm in a hurry. I got things to do. I got things to do. And
It's
she
a
looks at me,
quarter
she's-
after 11 at night, lady. Like,
yeah,
relax.
I know. And her hotel is, honest
Right
to
there.
God, like 50 paces behind me. And she grabs my record. She writes this. And then I'm like, I gotta go. She takes my friend's CD, writes love, drops the pen, doesn't even write her name, drops the pen and walks off.
What a bitch.
And I look at him like, were we punked? Like we drove the whole way home. Like, were we punked?
That's shitty.
If I
Yeah.
was your buddy, I would have literally called her out and went, hey,
He usually does.
is this?
I think it was like a deer in the headlights situation. Because he normally would. Like he's kind of like he's a guy. He's a good buddy I met through like meeting him after shows and things like that.
Right.
But this guy goes to extremes. Like, so there's people that I've gotten that I could get into, which I think I probably will. Joe Walsh. That I would never have gotten if it wasn't for his like just no shame.
Just go for it, eh? Yeah, that's all right though.
But
So-
yeah,
So what was the bigger punk? Knowing that you got called out for possibly selling a Krista Berg
yeah.
on eBay, or Sass Jordan?
Walk it. Yeah, it was just funny. Like some of the people that you meet, it's just hilarious. You never know what you're gonna get.
No, and that's the thing too, is you look
I
at
just
you
love
look-
she wrote love, drop the pen, and walked out. She didn't even finish the autograph.
Joe would have said something. Who cares if you piss her off? They'd be like, what the fuck is this?
what's going on, man? Well, and then you look at some like you sent us some videos of some of the autographs, and some of the autographs are really nicely done. Like
Yeah.
there's some artwork that goes around it and stuff like that. And I'll use an example of Richard Petty, the stock car guy. The guy
Yep.
has got a phenomenal signature,
Beautiful.
and he does it every single time.
Single time.
For
I've got a
hours
couple of those here.
and
My dad
hours
got
and
them.
hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. So, I mean, some get it and some don't. And maybe she was having a bad night. Like you said, you were going to preface this with woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But, and I don't care if it's legible because, if it's something on there and it's them, it's them. But at least a little something, and or at least put your name, not just
Right.
love. Love.
Right.
No, it's just the way, just the whole mannerism. Like she wrote, she was just so flustered, and she wrote, and she dropped the pen on the ground and kept walking. Like, all right,
I got to show this because Tim mentioned it. So Tim was very kind to get this for me, 5440, and it even says to Rob, which is cool. Yeah. So what's the story on this, Tim? How did this happen?
I told you. So I got them earlier that day.
Right.
And then, if I recall correctly, during the show, they were talking about how he heard, was it I Go Blind?
Right.
He was doing I Go Blind. He was doing his own song during karaoke.
Right.
And so it's kind of like one of those, like, what do you call those? Like, he made a joke.
Like, did I write this? Life or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, like, did I write this? Maybe, like, did I really write this song? Because the other band made it famous, Hootie and the Blowfish. So at the end of the show, to get your record signed, because I already got them earlier, I'm like, this is for my buddy Rob, and he's a big fan, and I just want to make sure, like, you wrote this stuff, right? Like, so I got a good reaction out of him.
I love this, man. This is one of my favorite records. And since Joe said we have to show the gatefold,
the rule.
Yeah,
see?
That's the
there
rule.
You go.
That's
this
awesome.
This is the anniversary edition. I've got an OG one that is beat up all the shit, but this is the anniversary
and everything.
Oh yeah. This is the anniversary remaster. I think it's on clear vinyl. I think it's on clear vinyl. So that's cool.
Nice.
So yeah, I love this, Tim. And like I said at the time, thank you, man. This is
awesome.
This is very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. One of my favorite signed records for sure. Okay, Daryl. Oh, Richard's just saying he showed that in my post to Daryl's royalty thread. I haven't watched. It's on my watch list, Richard. I will watch it. I promise.
Actually, it's Joe's turn.
Oh yeah, Joe's turn. See, I screw it up every night. Every night.
Well, you're just choosing a different good-looking guy versus the other good-looking guy.
Well,
so you're not really getting it wrong.
Okay.
All right. So I don't have pictures of this, and it's probably a good thing. I don't have a picture this time, but I've told the story of where this young man, which is Colin James, met Stevie Ray Vaughan. And so I'll tell that quickly again, real quick, because, again, I know I've told it before, but I was out. I wasn't able to go to the Stevie Ray Vaughan concert that night, but I went to the bar after I was done work. This dude walks in. He's got a sombrero. He's got a poncho. I'm kind of half cut at the time, so it doesn't dawn on me right away who it is. He goes and sits down. Later on, some other people come in. They go sit down with him. Anyway, it was the night that Colin James met Stevie Ray Vaughan, and they formed a bond, and they formed a friendship, and then it kind of went from there. So that I didn't get a chance to talk to either of them at that point, but a couple of years later, Colin's bigger, not big yet. I don't think this had even come out. I think just the EP with 5 Long Years is the only thing that had actually come out. But he'd already started to garner quite a following in Saskatchewan. So I was working in a bar, and him and the band played for a whole weekend. And I always say I've been drunk with Colin James before, and my wife reminds me that anybody that's been around Colin James in his younger days has also been drunk with Colin James, so it's not that much of a flex. But yeah, we closed the bar down on Friday night, then we went out and partied, and then we opened up the bar again, and they played, and then not just me in the band, it was everybody in the bar, but good dude, great band at the time. Haven't seen him for a while, but always puts on a great show. Fantastic guitar player. Does a lot of the blues stuff. Does a lot of covers, but still does a lot of his own material. Good Saskatchewan kid that now lives in British Columbia, I believe, is the last place that I saw him living out in Vancouver. But he does Tell a Miracle as well. That's what's kind of cool is there are and Tuke's been on Tell a Miracle before. I talked about that earlier about Bob McGrath, where it's the Kinsmen of Saskatchewan. They put on a telethon every year, and it's always a bunch of artists that get together and they go from 5 o'clock on or 9 o'clock on a Saturday night till 5 o'clock, and they've raised up to $5 million in that time frame, and it's been going for 30, 40 plus years. But Colin's been on there. If you're from Saskatchewan, you kind of give back and you're on Tell a Miracle at some point. But partied with Colin and a good dude. That's not autographed because that came later. And like I said, it's probably a good thing there were no pictures from the parties, because we were all lubricated. Let's just say that, back in lubrication days. So
There you go. That's a
Yeah.
great story, man.
it's
Yeah.
good.
He's
It's fun. He's a good dude. The band was fantastic too. So
Cool.
Hmm.
Okay, Daryl. Now it's your turn.
All right, Tim. So I'm going to bring out what I think, when I was looking at your collection, are two of the bigger guns that you had in there.
Sure.
And if I ever have one of them I don't think I'll ever get to see again, because I think he's retired altogether from the industry. And the other one is going to be depending on his health. So one of the ones that I found particularly interesting, and I'm just curious to know if you got any of the other members of the band, or if this was just a solo performance, was the No Jacket Required Phil
Okay.
Collins one.
Yeah.
Because that to me is just crazy that you got a Phil Collins autograph, because I mean, I see him in interviews and he seems to be one of those hit and miss kind of guys where he could be nice one day, but he knows his fame level and he
Mhm.
knows that he could be a bit of an arrogant prick if he wants to be.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious as to how that one came about. And then the other one that I'm curious about, and this is not a gatefold. It seems like it's a gatefold because it's thicker. And I believe, Rob, you have this one. But Bon
Yeah.
Jovi,
Yeah.
getting a Bon Jovi signature, to me, I mean, I think this one's a little, to me, probably a little maybe easier to get, because I mean, it's that arena rock and seems to be the kind of thing that John Bon Jovi would do. And he seems a little bit nicer of a person, I guess, not
Yeah.
so
He was not too bad. Yeah.
snobby and over the top. But so what were your impressions on Phil Collins and Bon Jovi, and how did those come to be?
So Phil Collins, that one, not really much. He was just very like business is bit like just like, oh, here we go. We just, here we go again kind of thing. Like I didn't get any. Just here we go again. He did one. There was maybe like 6 or 7 of us. It was in Toronto, quite a number of years ago, like maybe 15, 16 years ago. He was doing and then he was on his merry way. No engagement, no, just Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi. He was at the hotel. I got him at the hotel after the show. So again, my buddy, he kind of knew her, that he kind of saw them leave the hotel earlier that day. So he's like, "Oh, if you're going to the show, make your way to the hotel after the show." So I jump in the car. I leave like during the encore. Jump in, get to the hotel, and he shows up. He was pretty nice, actually. There was maybe 5 people. There's 3 girls, which always helps.
yeah,
Always helps. So he kind of goes to, and then we kind of just be like, but he was good about it. I actually, the Japanese cover you have, Rob?
Yeah.
I actually was trying to get that before meeting him, but it didn't show up because I had it in the mail. So I just brought my regular album cover.
Right.
So it doesn't sign as well because it's black on black. But
Sure.
Yeah.
But he was pretty nice. Again, he didn't have much to say, but I got Tico
So
on
they're
it.
kind of more.
I got Tico. I didn't see the other guys. Kind of just ran in the hotel, but I got the drummer Tico. I got him on it too.
that's cool.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
So they're more like business as usual kind of guys.
Yeah.
Just
The bigger the
venues,
artist,
I guess,
the bigger the artist, usually that's how it goes. Usually.
Unless it's Sting. Then you
Unless
have
it's
to
Sting. And again, I know it's going to come up. Joe Walsh to some degree was okay.
Let's hear your, well, since you mentioned, let's hear your Joe Walsh story, because he's my guitar hero.
So there we go. So I got Hotel California.
Damn.
And
Hell freezes over. Holy shit.
Hell freezes over. So this one again. So my buddy. So I didn't have tickets to the show, but I did see the show you went to, Rob, in Toronto.
Right.
I was there. So I saw them at that tour.
Right.
I was there that show. So this show I didn't have tickets for, but he was at the show. And he's like, okay, like for whatever reason, he said, go to Chateau Laurier, okay, and just wait there. And so he's at the show, so he doesn't know if they were going to fly, because the bigger you are, the better chance you might just fly out. You're just going to go to the airport, fly out private, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So he said, I'm going to follow these guys. So he follows them from the venue. I'm just waiting at the hotel to see what happens, right? So he's texting me and he says, look, like, okay, these guys are driving downtown. So they're either going to pass you, or they're going to the Westin Hotel, which is just like a block away. So he said he'll just let me know depending on what way they. Sure enough, so that I guessed right. They came to the Showtel. Don Henley, and there was two black ones that pulled in behind, like in the valet where you can't get to. There's a big fence, and I saw Don Henley get out and didn't pay me any mind. He just walked off like a sack of
because he's an asshole.
Oh yeah, he's
Really.
Timothy Schmidt just kind of walked. Yeah, he kind of didn't pay anyone any mind. Walked in, but Joe Walsh. They parked Joe Walsh outside the fence, so where he had to get in just through a regular door, and he got out and was like, Joe, would you mind? Like, he's like, of course, yeah, no problem. He's just like, give me a minute. He was grabbing some bags, or he's grabbing something, talking to people. He calls me over. By then, my buddy he's running up like this right behind, trying to catch up. And so he signs my records. And I was seeing Ringo in like a week or two. So I'm like, oh man, like jokingly, I'm like, oh, I'll say hi to Ringo for you. Like, I'm seeing him in a couple of weeks in another.
For those watching, Ringo is
like,
Joe Walsh and Ringo are brothers-in-law. For those,
yeah. I knew they were like. So I'm like, I'm seeing Ringo in a couple of weeks, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's right on. Yeah, he's a good guy. I'm like, well, yeah. So we shot this shit for a few minutes, and like, what do you say to Joe Walsh, right?
I wouldn't be able to get a word out. I'd be like, I'd be tongue-tied.
Yeah, like I didn't even know. Like I just kind of like I didn't know. Like words came out of my mouth. Like I just held my records up, and he kind of put two and two together. I'm like, Joe, like, would you mind? And
he seems like a down to earth,
like one of these like. We're not worthy kind of things.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, come on over.
He seems he sounds like the rest of them are ass. I know someone that's open for them, and he has stories about how they are fucking assholes, except for Joe Walsh. So kind of jives with what you're saying.
He was cool. Yeah, I'll see if I can find my. Yeah, he did a picture and everything. He was very cool. Yeah, I'll find it.
All right, is it my turn now? Is that where we're at?
It is your turn. Yep.
I'm glad you guys are here to keep me straight here. Okay. I can do another twofer because I can. And I will. Okay. One of these I've shown before, and one of these I haven't. So I'll show this one first. A band no one cares about, except you guys might because you're Canadian, so you guys might care. Joe might care.
Joe always cares, man. You always say you guys might not care. I always care.
All right.
We always care.
So a band I talk about all the time, Whitehorse, from Toronto, Luke and Melissa. Huge fan, and I've seen them, I don't know how many times, 20 times, I don't know. And I've met them almost as many times. This is their third record, Leave No Bridge Unburned, from 2015. And did I meet them on this tour? Yeah, I'm sure I did, because I've met them pretty much every tour they've ever done. I didn't get this signed in person, although I have a Whitehorse set list on my wall of it. Oh, hold on. This is more important. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. Very cool. Love it. Love it.
Totally geeking out inside.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. I have a Whitehorse set list over there that's autographed. So, but I bought this one. But the reason I show this record, and we have to show the gatefold, not only because it's Joe's Rules, but because it is signed. So it's signed there by Melissa and it's signed there by Luke. This is the special Kickstarter version of the album. So that's how they funded this record, because they're signed to a small indie label in Toronto, but this is how they funded this record, as they did a Kickstarter. And I bought in on the Kickstarter, and there's liner notes here that tell what all the songs are about. That's not in the normal edition that you buy in the store. So it's kind of cool that I have that and that it's signed, but also
for a minimalistic cover, I love that cover.
It's very cool.
Cover art.
All of the Kickstarters have their name in the liner notes. So yes, my name is somewhere in this list. Somewhere. Oh, right here. There I am. Right there. I'm
Very
not going to
nice.
show you real close because then you know what my last name is. Not that I give a shit, but anyway. So yeah, an autographed album where I actually appear in the liner notes. So
That's awesome. That's good.
that's one. And here's another one I'm going to show. I'm a big fan of Grace Potter, who I've talked about. I did not get this particular one signed in person. I do have a CD signed and I have a ticket signed that I got in person, and I have a picture of me with her somewhere. Not on this computer though. So I have met her, but I bought this one. This is her first solo album, Midnights, and I'm not a fan of her solo stuff. I really like what she did with the Nocturnals, but then she got a bit of an ego and blew up that band. But anyway, I saw her at the Danforth Music Hall in 2010, somewhere around there, maybe 2012, something like that. And it was just one of those, the bus is parked out in front of the Danforth Music Hall, which is a theater. And so the show's over, everyone comes out, and me and about three other people are standing out front of the bus on Danforth Avenue. And someone comes out and they're like, "Oh, you can't stay. The band's already left." I go, "That's the bus." So the band hasn't left yet. They're like, "Well, you can't stay here." I go, "I can because this is a public sidewalk." They're like, "Oh, well, the band's left." I go, "Okay, cool. I'm just going to hang out anyway." And about 20 minutes later, her husband, who was the drummer, ex-husband now, he came out and I said hi to him. And then her guitar player, Scott Tournay, he came out and I talked to him for like 20 minutes or 15 minutes maybe about guitars because I had a Heritage Guitar t-shirt on. And he's like, because it's a boutique brand in Michigan. So we were talking about that. And then she came out. By this time, there's like maybe six of us there. So she hung out with all of us, took pictures, signed everything. And she was very, very sweet. Yeah. So that's my Grace Potter story. Not that it's much of a story, but yeah. I probably have 15 Grace Potter autographs at this point in time, but I've only met her the one time, and she's very, very nice. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. We got time for, let's do one more round. How's that sound? Work for you guys?
Yep.
All right. Show us whatever you want to show us, Tim.
Oh boy, what do you want to see?
I'm curious to hear the Michael Jackson story. How did that happen?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm not a Michael Jackson fan, but
this one's another. Yeah, again, it's more of like a putting up with the shenanigans, like as you must like.
Right.
So Michael fans are just the world is just crazy when it comes to Michael Jackson. The world is crazy. So this was I went to New York, and there was something going on at the Sony store, and good luck getting anywhere near him there. I was tipped that where he was staying. So went to the event, took a taxi to the hotel, waited, and he didn't get out of his car. There was pandemonium, absolute pandemonium. I've seen pictures, I've heard people where he'll get out of the car, take pictures for people, usually with a mask or whatever. But he did not get out of the car. He did not get out of the car, but he signed my 45 from the car. He rolled down.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that without? There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was absolute pandemonium. But I'm a huge fan, and that was one of my earliest albums, actually. When I started, my first autograph was Smokey Robinson, maybe in 2000.
Whoa!
Yeah, he was my first autograph, and this was this is in 2003 or 4. So he had an event at the Sony store. I went. That was ridiculous, and then I zipped over to the hotel, waited on him, and he showed up, rolled down. There was me and tons of fans. Most didn't want autographs. Most wanted pictures or like to touch them or anything like that, right? But I was there, like, I want this guy's autograph, and yeah, he grabbed it, signed it, handed it back. Then they rolled him in.
That's cool. What
Yeah.
about Springsteen? You've got Springsteen. You met him.
Okay, so Springsteen, here we go. Okay, so him I got twice. Once at the Broadway. Here, let's see if I can find the record.
Like him live on Broadway, you mean?
Yeah, the Broadway. Maybe like
Right.
what 2017, 2016, 17, something like that. It's a little while ago. Yeah, so he was signed before and after Broadway shows for fans that were waiting for him. So I got him there, and then here in Ottawa, I got him just a few months back. So again, so we waited so there's a private coming in that day, so we waited for the private jet to arrive. It was him. It was funny because when we got there, we saw a radio DJ show up. Some lady radio DJ that used to do radio back in the day. She showed up, so I guess she had wind that he was coming, and he lands, he drives right past us. So my buddy, being the crazy, crazy guy, he's like, let's follow him. So I swear to God. So I jump in the passenger seat. He's following him through rush hour traffic to the venue. He goes right to the venue, and we beat him. He wants to get in front of him so we get time to get out of the car. Sure enough, he's like, do this. We're getting out here cross. So we get to where they they drive him in, and it was just the two of us. And his guy said he just went like this one. So he took the records, brought it to him. He signed it from the car. So we got a little bit of a glimpse of him, like maybe 30 feet away. He was signing, just sitting down like with the car door open, like, and then he handed it back to his guy. So I got Nebraska signed, but I gave it to my dad.
Oh,
but I'll try to find. But I got born in the USA.
Wow.
Yeah,
are you as jealous as I am, Joe?
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I did bring it out.
Yes.
Wow. That's crazy.
I'll find it. Where did I put it?
And he seems, I know it was a brief encounter, but he seems like a good dude. I've never.
He was a good dude. He like from the car when he like he waved and he said like he was doing like he was gesturing. I'm surprised he didn't roll down or anything. He didn't roll, but you could see from the car like he was like. Yeah. Like
I'm sure there's probably certain days, but I've never heard, you know what? I met Bruce Springsteen and he was an asshole. I've never heard that. There's stories, but it just doesn't seem like that's a thing. There's probably days where he's maybe a little more standoffish, but he seems down to earth as much as a guy that is that big can be down to earth. So.
Wow. Look at that.
Here it is.
That's perfect. Perfect spot. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And wasn't it a good show? Ottawa, like that whole Canadian.
It was. He played for like, I think it was the show. Did I see him just before you or just after you?
It was before. Winnipeg and Edmonton were both after. Yeah.
Yeah. And he played for like forever and a day.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. So
yeah.
The only one I didn't get out of the two shows was Waiting on a Sunny Day. I know he did it in BC. I should have just friggin' went to BC, but I didn't. So, but that's all right. Yeah. I have one. I have two. Did you ever meet Prince? And I know you have Herb Albert's autograph. Yeah. Where does that one come from? And actually, I don't know. Is it Herb's autograph or is it her autograph? Because if it was hers, that'd be
it's her. It's Herb.
It's Herb, yeah, but it'd be cool to have Herb, right?
I don't know what he wrote. Is that Olay or something?
Olay,
I guess.
Yeah,
probably. Sure, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah,
right on. And that's the album to get it on. So, did you go see him, or did you? Run into him
So this was in Kingston. I saw the show in Kingston. Because the Ottawa show, for whatever reason, I don't remember. I couldn't go. I went to Kingston. He signed after the show. But again, he was very COVID paranoid at the time. I think it was in 2020. Yeah. Very COVID paranoid. So it was one of those, like, he went into the hotel lobby and then his guy came out, grabbed our records. He signed, came back, but he was coming to Ottawa the very next day. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta try for a photo. I've got to try for a photo.
Yeah.
So I went to one of the hotels in Ottawa, and I recognized the guy that was handling the records and stuff, walking around. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna see what happens here. And his wife comes out or whatever. She was a sweetheart. She's like, oh, I'm like, I just want, would Herb take a photograph, And she's like, oh, well, let me ask him, and sure, it should be okay. And she talks to him, and Herb's not quite all, like, he doesn't see me. He doesn't, I don't know if he's got hearing issues or whatever, but she kind of pulls him over this way, and he's like, this gentleman would like to take your photo. And he's like, okay, no problem, but stand at a distance. And he had a mask on, and I put a mask on, and I'll find it.
That's awesome. That's good.
So I got my photograph the next day.
He's one of those artists that it's everywhere, right? He's the Nana Muscuri where everybody's got, but he's got one of the most iconic album covers, the one that you showed ever. And he started A&M Records. He's a pretty big deal. That's why I wanted you to talk about him a little bit. So that's cool. That's great.
There he is.
Oh, cool.
Right on. That's good. Got the shades.
And he's
on.
one of and his record sales is like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a new album coming out. I'm sure I saw that a little while ago. So that's fantastic. Thank you for that. That's great.
So he was an absolute, and his wife was like, she went out of her way to make this happen. So
that's good.
She's a sweetheart. Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Good. Do you have anything you want to show, Joe?
Yeah, I'll do one more quick one. I got a bunch pulled, but I'll do one more quick one. I'll start with this. I didn't get a chance to actually meet this guy, but just because you guys were talking about it, there's a picture there. So this is not a zoomed picture. I was that close to Joe Walsh. Wow. And then this guitar pick has touched Joe Walsh's hands. So I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I did get a guitar pick. And I did get the chance, front row center, the greatest seats I'll ever get for a concert. Although Don was still there, but
we have talked several times, Joe, and we've been assembling the list of things in your collection that you will leave in your will to me.
Correct.
That guitar pick should be one of them.
It is. It's on the list.
Okay,
there's the One Bad Son album, which is in the pile over here, and the guitar pick. I can't remember. There's a few other things, but
I can't remember what else there was.
And I'm still of sound mind and body. Well, not body, but I'm of sound mind.
I don't want you to go anywhere anytime soon. So
no, thank you. It'll be there. Yeah, it'll be there. Okay. Quickly, and I've talked about it before, but I used to DJ in bars, and I was DJing one night, and I do the lights when the band was playing, unless they had their own light guy. Anyway, Lee Aaron was playing the next night, but she came in at the end of the night, so kind of hung around at the end of the night, had a little bit of a chance to talk to her. Super nice lady, really good. This is back in the Metal Queen days, and then saw her a couple years ago. She was very fantastic, and for a while she was kind of doing some jazzy stuff or whatever. So there's the autograph of Lee in her a little bit more jazzy period, but cool, nice lady. Didn't get a chance to talk to her a whole lot. It wasn't like partying with Colin James because I was sober to begin with. That helps a bunch. But super nice lady. And there you go. I got some other stuff, but we're getting near our time, and you guys got some other things to show. So let's do that.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Daryl.
All right, so I'm just going to do a speed round with you, Tim.
Sure.
All I want to know is if you've got a signature from them or if you've met them.
Okay.
All right. Now, majority of these are going to be Canadian.
So yes,
some
no.
of them obscure. Some of them are obscure or not. And if there's one that really comes to mind, like a cool story, then go for it.
Sure.
All right. So here we go. We got the box.
Yes. I actually talked to him for about 20 minutes. It's funny. So
who the hell is the box?
You know the box. You heard
they're a band. I think they're from Montreal. I think.
Closer.
Never heard.
Are they from East?
Closer together. They're from Montreal.
Closer together.
Actually, the singer, he used to be in Men Without Hats before they kind of went
Ivan, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Closer Together,
So
Ordinary
you did get to
People.
talk to him for 20 minutes, eh?
Yeah, about 20 minutes. He was quite the character. We were talking about Italian grappa and
That's awesome.
what shows to play at in Montreal and what shows not to play in at Montreal. He was knocking this club like, oh, this is the shittiest club ever. This is, I forget the name of it in Montreal. Sure as hell. A month later, I go to see, I think it was the Lemon Twigs I went to see in Montreal, like the next month, and it was that club. And I'm just like, yeah, no, he's awesome. Yeah.
Now I know you've got this one or this band autograph, but what are your thoughts on Brad Roberts and Ellen Reed?
Oh my God. I smoked with him.
Now, what did you smoke? Did you smoke a cigarette?
I was waiting for him after the show. He's like, sorry for keeping you waiting. You want to, do you want a toke? I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well, of course I do. Sure.
So I smoked with Brad Roberts.
All right. Bruce Coburn.
Oh, he was phenomenal. Yeah. Nice guy.
Chilliwack.
Oh my God. I was gonna. I actually brought it up just because you should have gone. Remember a few weeks ago, you were saying out earworms or whatever was the topic.
Yeah.
And I'm
like, yeah.
No.
Bill Henderson.
Funny.
Yeah.
Kim Mitchell.
Oh yeah. He was awesome.
Yeah, he seems like
Honeymoon.
a great guy.
He's a great guy. Oh, Honeymoon. I was going to pull Honeymoon Suite, but I didn't. Yeah. I got to chat with Johnny D for about 15, 20 minutes. He came out first, and I was waiting for the rest of the band to sign my album. So he was out for like 20 minutes outside. I was just talking to him. For, yeah.
All right. I've got really four more. Four more. This next one's probably one of the biggest Canadian artists of all time. Do you ever get a Gordon Lightfoot?
I do. Yeah, but I didn't get it. My buddy had backstage, and he got one for me.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Another Montrealer, Gino Vanelli.
No. Same with Zappacosta. I'd like to get Zappacosta.
Yeah.
I like Elfie. Elfie's good.
All right. Now, I know you talked about Billy Joel before. Did you ever get the autograph?
Yes.
Yeah,
on 52nd
and last
Street.
but not least, did you ever get any of the members of Chicago?
No. Never.
All right, there's my speed round. That was cool.
That was fun.
The fact that you've smoked a cigarette with Brad Roberts is hilarious.
It wasn't a cigarette.
No, marijuana. Yeah.
And
I don't smoke cigarettes.
Sass Jordan is on that Box album too. She's backup singer on that Box album. So,
nice.
Have you got any Sass Jordan stories? Just kidding.
Well, aside from the one.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Being a smartass.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bring this home. I got two more.
Okay.
Well, I have many more, but Tim's met one of these, I'm sure, maybe both. This is a CD, unfortunately. I do have autographed vinyl, but I didn't get that in person, but I got this in person. Matt Mays, one of my favorite.
Oh, no, I never met him.
Really? I'm surprised.
No.
You know his music.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So I met him a couple times. So there is a story behind this one. It's not a good one. And I've shared the story before too. This is his album Coyote from 2012, I think. I saw him when I met him this night, and I do have a photograph, but again, it's not on this computer. Hamilton Place, not the main theater, but there's a smaller theater at Hamilton Place where I saw him with my buddy Brian, who's a huge fan as I am. We were front row and met Matt after the show, and Matt signed it. It says, Rob, stay gold, Matt Mays. It was great. And 2 days later, they were in Edmonton. You probably know where I'm going with this story, Joe. When their guitar player, Jay Smith, took his own life.
Yep. So
I saw the second to last show of Jay's. And I have pictures that I'm standing 3 feet in front of Jay Smith for the entire show. And it was a sad kind of thing. And how I got the news is the opening band was a friend of mine, Dustin Bentall, Barney Bentall's son. And and his girlfriend at the time is my pal Kendall Carson, who plays for Alan Doyle. And the news hadn't broken yet, but she sent me a text and she goes, did you hear? And I go, about what? She goes, Jay, what happened? And so she told me that he had taken his own life by overdosing on pills in the hotel. So pretty tragic. I'm glad I got to see Jay's second to last show. I've met Matt since then and some of the other guys in his band, Adam and Leaf and whatever, but huge Matt Mays fan. So this is one of the times I met him. Anyone guess who I'm going to end this little segment with?
I know.
Blue Rodeo.
I know.
Maybe Blue Rodeo. I have, and this is not an exaggeration, I probably have 100 Blue Rodeo autographs in this room. That would be probably a conservative estimate. Everything I have, but I don't have much vinyl signed by them. In fact, the other ones I have are the two on my wall.
The only thing about Blue Rodeo, like I have like the 5 Days of July sign, but
Nice.
on the back, it's hard to see because the pen was shit. But on the back of it, I got. Here, I'll take this off.
Don't tell me you got Sarah McLaughlin.
Sarah on the back.
Son of a bitch.
On the back.
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Sarah McLaughlin sings on a couple tracks on that album. So
Yeah.
I have seen Blue Rodeo 52 times.
That's crazy.
I've met them all countless times. One of the guys has been sitting in this very room. I have done 3 interviews with him. I've been to his house and had coffee with him on his front porch on a Saturday morning. There you go.
Kim Mitchell for Daryl.
Nice.
Right on.
When my son was born, I got a video from Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler congratulating my wife and I because they were out on tour at the time. So I have tons of things with Blue Rodeo, but I'll show 2 things and I'll share the 2 stories quickly. So this is their album Palace of Gold, which unfortunately is not available on vinyl. I wish it was. It's a great album. This is signed by everyone in the band, including James Gray, who has since passed away. But so when I got this signed, this was, and by the way, this is the, if you ever want this album, get the US CD on Rounder Records because it has 3 bonus tracks that were recorded in Kitchener, Ontario. I was at that show. They're not on the Canadian version. But anyway, when I got this, this was in Stratford, Ontario. They used to play Stratford every January for like almost 20 years. They did like a Friday night, Saturday night. And I was dating a girl who is now my wife. And it was like this 4th, 5th date. Like we hadn't been dating very long. And I took her to this show. And when the show's over, I said to Kim, I said, hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get a set list. And I went down to the stage, got a set list from one of the guys. Said, now let's go backstage and get this signed. She goes, how are we going to get backstage? I knew the guy that was the promoter for the show. So we go to the stage door and I said to Chris, I said, Chris, I don't have a pass, but he goes, go on in. And so Kim got the entire set list signed by the band. And I got them to sign this copy of my CD. Pretty good early date, I would argue. I mean, that's fairly good one. And I'll share this one as well. I also have an autograph set list. I have many, actually. But this one was from Hamilton Place in 2005. This was a show. Matt Mays was the opener, believe it or not. And this was one where I got backstage and shouldn't have been backstage because I didn't have passes. There was a crowd of people that had VIP passes, and I blended in and just went in with the line and just was hoping that no one would check. And so I got a set list from one of the sound guys. I'm like, let's see if I can get this thing signed. Because at that time, my wife had one, or girlfriend, but I didn't have one. I'm like, I got to have a signed set list. And so we're backstage in the meet and greet room waiting for the band to come out. And we're standing there, and Kim kind of nudges me. She goes, look at the guy standing in the corner by himself. I look over, and is it not Ron McLean from Hockey Night in Canada?
Cool.
I'm like, well, goddamn, we got to go say hi. So I went over. I said, Ron, got to shake your hand, and he was. I talked to Ron McLean for like 25 minutes. We talked about hockey, and then I was a Habs fan. And we got talking about music because he's a super uber music nerd. And then he says, "You guys want to take a picture?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So we handed my phone to somebody, or maybe that was actually a digital camera back then. Anyway, he goes, "We got to do the thumbs up like grape." So there's the three of us giving the thumbs up, and someone took a picture, and then met the whole band, and they all signed my set list. So one of my countless Blue Rodeo stories. So
Good thing you snuck in with the group.
right, exactly.
You just got to walk in, Tim. Probably you just got to walk into places like you own the damn place. Sometimes you get in, and what are they gonna do?
Yeah, don't stick out like a sore thumb. That's the worst you could do.
Blend in.
Get in there. Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be there. The worst thing they're going to do is just throw you out.
Exactly.
Joe, every week you have that big Wreck album behind you. It bugs me.
Yeah.
It bugs me, man. It bugs me.
Yeah, I saw that in the box. Yeah.
It's a great record.
Right? Yeah. How was he? Because he seems like he could be maybe a little.
Oh, he was. I chatted for him for about 20 minutes.
Oh, good. Right on.
Yeah, there he is.
Cool.
Yeah.
He was getting. I think he was. I don't know. He had a little too much to drink that night coming out of the gig or whatever. He was very touchy and very close.
Yeah. Okay. Last one I'll ask about because we're gonna wrap up. What about the Tragically Hip? Did you ever get to meet Gord?
Never. No.
I got a buddy that has seen them as many times as Rob has seen Blue Rodeo, and I think she got a chance to meet them. But I wasn't sure if that was one. For the amount of times that they were around, I never saw the Tragically Hip. Mm-hmm. And I know that, I know Rob doesn't care, just isn't a fan, but it's just there's a few regrets, and that is certainly one of them. I'm not exactly sure. I guess it was one of those, I'll see him next time. Yeah. You got to go see them. You got to go see these people because you just don't know that there's going to be a next time. I passed on Tom Petty too because it was a February and the roads were kind of shitty, but I would have made it and I should have made it, but I didn't go and I should have went. So no more.
I see myself. I see in 10 years. I see myself retiring from going to gigs and all this stuff. So I just do it now before it's too late.
Get her done. Yeah.
So, and I know Rob at the beginning of I'll end it here just because at the start of the show you said who are the biggest ones you met. Well, I guess I'll have to. I can't not show this.
Oh shit! Hold on. But you're going to make you so big, you're going to be the only one on screen. Okay. Oh, that's me. Hold on, we don't want to do that. So, I don't want to see my stupid face.
Sorry for the glass. So, can you see that?
Yeah.
So there's Paul.
Wow.
And
Ringo.
Sorry, can you see that?
Wow, yep.
There's Ringo.
Good Lord. Okay, so how did that happen?
Airport.
Wow.
So Ringo. Well, so Ringo was a little more straightforward, but again, just dealing with the people. He was playing at the Casino Rama in Toronto.
Yeah.
And so it was just like getting there early enough. Early is always better because after the show is when you get like, the shenanigans, right? So early is always best. That's when he was signing, like 2006, 2007. He was pretty nice about it.
I would have been at that same show at Rama. I was there.
Yeah. 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 2 shows we've been to.
Yeah, and then I saw him twice at Rama, once then and once around like 2002-ish. So I've seen him twice.
Okay. So he was all right. Paul was let's see if I can find a picture. I did someone grabbed a picture for me behind my shoulder.
I wouldn't be able to talk. I would just be
I didn't say again. He was coming out through the so I was just someone says, "Oh, if you go to the airport, like I got tipped." People knew, like, I'm not going to answer. I'm not okay. Just tell me what to do.
Right.
So I went. He came out of the terminal, like the private one there, rolled down. There's about 6 or 7 people. He yeah, I'll see if I can find a photo. It's pretty grumpy. It's a pretty grumpy Paul McCartney, I'll tell you that. But I'll see if I can find it somewhere here. But I figure I had to show that.
That's way cooler than my Pete Best autograph.
Oh, and Joe, have you met at Kiss? There's my random encounter with.
No, haven't seen Gene. He was
just
here.
A random encounter. He was outside of Starbucks.
He was here at a brewery selling his vodka or his tequila or his gin. No, I think it's his gin. And he was signing autographs. I think he was charging though. So you had to buy a bottle and he was still charging you for the autograph. But
nice.
Gene's got lots of my money. Yeah, I don't have anything. I guess I have Paul's signature on a guitar. Whether that's for real or not, it's supposed to be for real, but I've never met any of the guys. I should have met Ace and Peter, but I didn't get a chance to. So in that same bar that I met Lee Aaron. But anyway, Paul was tired, was he, coming in, going out?
Yeah, I'm just trying to here we go. I got some. He was I don't know, tired or whatever, but not too engaging. Hold on.
I think there's certain people just to be in their presence, just the proximity of, right? And of course we get that on stage.
I did. Oh, I didn't show it, but just because I pulled up a picture, there's my picture. I just kind of snapped a Paul Simon.
Cool.
Yeah. Hold on. Where's that grumpy picture of Paul? It's not very flattering.
Is that outside Letterman?
There it is.
With Paul Simon?
There he is. He just someone over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Took it. Yeah.
Yes, I think Richard, you've mentioned that before. That's awesome. Is that Paul Simon outside of Letterman's studio in New York?
It was outside of one of the hotels in Toronto.
Oh, okay. It looked like Anyway, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, there's the shot someone took of Ringo.
Wow.
Signing. Yeah.
Peace and love. Peace and love. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Anyway.
Wow, that's incredible. So Tim, what do you think? How many albums do you have signed by folks? It sounds like a lot. Couple hundred?
Well, like a diamond box.
Yeah.
So if I had to fill those, maybe like 5.
Holy shit.
That's good.
Your signed collection is bigger than a lot of people's collections. That's impressive, man. And what does the wife think about your time? Honey, I won't be home for dinner. I got to go stalk Ringo Starr.
Oh, well, no, it's usually after. It's usually after shows, so like it doesn't really impede on family living. Like I if I'm going to a show that night, I just instead of coming home at 10:30, I come home at 12 or 1 o'clock. Yeah, depending on how long it takes for them to get out.
Wow.
And from the outside,
I'll go, or sometimes I'll go before the show if I can. If I can, 9 times out of 10, I'll try before the show.
Sure.
Just because.
Back to the Krista Berg and the eBay thing. What it seems like to me, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're not just getting these for the sake of getting them. These are artists that you care about, that you want to see, that you are seeing. It's not like, oh, Paul McCartney's playing, so I'm going to go get his autograph and then go home. You're going to see these artists, which is awesome, which is great.
Yeah, buying the music. Like these, it's funny because like I know I grew up in Nova Scotia where there was nothing. I lived in a small CFB Greenwood. I don't know if you guys know Nova Scotia at all, but it's a tiny little, the smallest town you can. It's tiny, and just growing up there's nothing, no shows ever, nothing. You had to go to Halifax for the closest show, and even then, no one ever came. So when I moved to Ottawa, it was like, it was just the whole world so all this music that I grew up listening to, like, wow, I can finally, like my first show was Elton John, my very first show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. I
agree with Richard. You've got enough stories and enough cool shit, man. You should start a YouTube channel and start showing this stuff.
I might down the road, but
it's
just my 5-year-old takes up.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I can't say it doesn't cross my mind. It does cross my mind that I should do a channel one time, but I need more time.
Richard says you're natural. I agree, man. You're good at doing this, man. And
Okay, cool.
not to speak for Joe or Daryl, but I have thoroughly enjoyed tonight's episode
Yeah,
because
it's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of the stories are actually like almost speechless. You can't,
Yeah.
right?
just can't say anything about it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
like I've just scratched. Like we don't always have to. I mean, if you ever want me on again, I'll jump on. It doesn't have to
Anytime
be
you
about
want,
autographs.
man. You have an
It doesn't
open
have to be about
invitation.
autographs. Like
You have
like
an
even-
open invitation to join us whenever you want, sir.
like even Iron Maiden, you know, like I didn't get into them. They were pieces of shit. But yeah, Iron Maiden, I got all
Bruce-
of them.
Bruce, I would imagine, is not that. Bruce seems like an asshole when he's on stage. I love the music, but he seems like a bit of an
Yeah.
asshole when he's on stage.
Oh, he was. He came out. I'm like, Bruce, would you mind? You know, like, and he came out. He grabbed the pen. He was walking. Like I can't even do it. He grabbed the pen while walking, signed while walking, handed the pen back to me while walking.
Really? Okay, last question because I know Rob wants to wrap up. So
Yeah.
it's something like Blues Fest.
Yeah.
Are they around for a while? Is that a place to go and get a bunch at a given? Like, you go on a
It
day
depends
and
on
get-
it depends on the artist.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
some artists stay over, some don't. Some drive out the next day if they have another gig. It
Right.
completely depends on. But Blues Fest, I can say, goes out of their way to kind of cock block you for
Yeah.
autographs.
Do they a little bit?
They go out of their way to
Like no.
as willing as the artists are to sign. They go
Yeah.
out of their way to cock block you.
So you'd probably have to find them at their hotel, like before they get to the venue.
I've
more
got
than
some. I
anything.
know I've got more often than not. I've gotten stuff signed at Blues Fest, but as the years go on, it's getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
Where I just
Well-
like this year, I don't even think I'm going to go.
No. Well,
No.
I tell you what, I think I'm probably going to go next year. As long as there's at least 3 big artists, I'm going to come next year,
Cool.
and
Let
we'll
me
go
know.
and hang for a while.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let me
It'll
know.
be good.
Guys, this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. This is Tim. We've wanted to do this for a while, man. So
Yeah. No, it's good fun. I love it.
it's awesome. And anytime you want to come back and talk about anything, let's do it,
Anything.
man.
Doesn't have
This is
to.
great.
Just music in general. I can just shoot the shit about music all day.
It's great. Well, we're absolutely going to do that. I'm always looking for another guest. So,
For sure.
as we always do, we don't have a channel, Tim, so I can't say what's going on
Yeah.
on your channel. Daryl, what's going on in Northern Vinyl Guys world?
I just put out a video there. What was it, on Monday? So Victoria Day. I know not everybody. I know Rob, you're tired of the thread thing, but I thought I'd throw out a thread for fun on Monday. So if you have any albums dealing with royalty, I mean, Victoria Day is all about our celebration of Queen Victoria for whatever reason.
She's our monarch. She was our monarch, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but she wasn't a nice person though. Not from what I've read.
Neither is Iron Maiden.
Anyway, whatever.
So there you go.
Yeah, so anyway, just show off royalty records, I guess we would call it. That's the only video I put out recently. It's been just busy, and the last couple days I haven't been feeling the greatest, but I'm gonna try to get something going for Friday, and we'll see how that goes. But nothing too much on my channel as of late.
All right, Joe. What about you?
Yeah, I haven't been doing anything on my own for a bit. Put the game show on hiatus for a little. Going to tweak that. Come back. We'll bring that back in a while. And doing a few things for the store tomorrow. I think I've got something planned. I thought about it earlier. Now I've kind of forgot about it again. I swear to Christ, I gotta start. I email myself stuff. It's just horrible. I'm getting old, but that's okay. I'm getting better. I'm getting vintage. So that's about it. So really the store page, I know you guys watch and I appreciate it, doesn't necessarily I guess it's for the lack, it's still showing stuff, so that's cool. But anyway, I'm babbling at this point. I don't really have much going on. I just love doing this. So I look forward to next Wednesday already. And Tim, you were awesome. Thank you for joining us. It was great.
Yeah, nice to finally meet you guys.
Yeah, you too.
And
Yeah.
Rob, what about you? I know the story, but
So 2 weeks ago, I took the week off because I had no ideas, and which was great actually because I'm fairly regimented in doing this and doing my Sunday video, so it was nice to take a week off. And then this Sunday rolled around, and I recorded a video about my current, list of grails, And something happened in the transfer process when I went from my phone to my computer that it corrupted the file. And I said, well, I'm not going to bother recording it again because that's too much damn work. So I took another day off, and then we had a death in the family, and it's a shit week, and work sucks right now. So I haven't done anything for 2 weeks, but I am working on a video for this Sunday. And Richard will be happy to know. He already does know. It came about from the, I think it was the impromptu live chat last week that I did with Sam and company. I'm doing a video about how I manage my digital music library, which I didn't think anyone would give a shit about, but apparently I have an interesting way of doing it. So Richard and a couple other folks said, yeah, you absolutely should make a video about that. So it's not just a matter of my shit sits on a hard drive. It's a little more of a setup than that. So that's what the video is going to be this week. So
Cool.
there we go. So, all right. Well, Tim, thank you again, man. This was great, and we'll have you back soon.
Sounds good.
Talk about whatever.
Yeah.
So,
See me from the other side next week.
there you go. Thanks, and thank you for watching all these weeks, man. It's always
No,
nice
it's good.
to see
No,
it.
it just all four of you guys, like, or all three, the other three of you guys, like, all our music tastes kind of just,
Yeah.
they're all the same. It's great. All our collections kind of converge.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, to those watching, thank you. We always enjoy chatting with you guys every week. And for those who watch this later, thanks for spending a couple hours with us. We'll be back again next Wednesday with a different guest and a different topic. But until next week, see everybody later. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.